Hi guys, so welcome to day one, and this is our cloud course 4-in-1, Azure 104, Exchange Online, Teams Online, and Intune Online. So, so for 3 years, last 3 years, I've been doing this stunt of introducing to 4 courses in one. My main purpose here is to give more value to students. Um, if it was about money, I would have really put it in a different way. I would have gone one course and charged more. But this is all about passion to learn, passion to share, and give more value. I when I offer courses, it helps me first, and then it helps all the students. And I really want to help spread whatever I know and all the passion that has to be fulfilled by sharing and trying to explore more newer technologies, not explore but actually introduce to students. And hey, this is also in the market now. Okay, this is in the lab, we can do it this way as well. So etc etc. So the thing is that uh, let's let me just introduce the rest of the slides and then courses as well. One by one, we're going to go with the topics. What are the topics inside this course? What are the topics inside this and this one and the other one? And especially why Intune. I mean, this is the first time I'm introducing Intune, so I'm also excited. And I have implemented that in a company, and I was like, whoa, I need to share that. People need to know how important it is. And I've been listening to friends. They are also implementing some in initial stages, some in later stages, and they're sharing their experiences as well. That it's devices in the company. They are what kind of troubleshooting you face there when you have to handle so many devices, and especially when you're working on compliance policies. What do you have to do? So anyway, what is cloud? I'm just going to go quick on that because by now everyone knows. Okay, so there's a message in WhatsApp. Oh no, sorry. I can hear you with my headphones, but mic is a problem. It's okay, Zakir. It's okay, no problem. Okay, so we were talking about. So guys, the first thing, if you have any question, every question is welcomed. You can put questions in WebEx chat. You can put questions in WhatsApp. I'm looking at those chats as well as if you want to come on mic and ask a class related technical question, obviously you're most welcome. Any question, so don't think that, oh, it may be a simple question, should I ask it? No, just ask it. So it's your right? Okay, so let's go ahead and types of cloud. There are three types of overall categorizations there: public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, and then there are three types of services there: IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service, PaaS, platform as a service, and SaaS, software as a service. SaaS is also in Southeast Asia, it's the name for mother-in-law, right? SaaS. Okay, just kidding. So what's the difference between these? What is a public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, and cloud? So why there are so many clouds there? So why is it so cloudy? Okay, so many ways to say it. But if you go to the diagram or the drawing board, when we talk about, we can start from this IaaS, and that is infrastructure as a service. And this time, normally, last year when I went for 4-in-1 course, I went for IaaS only. So, but what is it? Infrastructure as a service, right? And what does that mean? Infrastructure? What infrastructure? Oh, it's the data center. So whatever you do in the data center, okay, what do you do in data center? So you create servers in last decade when it was all physical servers, you were buying Dell, HP, IBM servers, and then you were deploying it on the racks, and then you would boot from the CD and first make those RAID and then install operating system on top of that, do hardening, right? Then virtualization came, and Hyper-V, VMware actually is the main virtualization platform. So you were deploying virtual machines there, and you were doing security hardening for that. And now what you do in data center is create virtual machines, worry about their storage, worry about their network, and security, connectivity. So all that you do in a data center. So that's exactly what you do in data centers provided by Microsoft, well, and AWS, and by Google Cloud, by Oracle Cloud, by Alibaba Cloud. I'm not kidding. Alibaba Cloud is there, and it's from China, and it also has a big footprint in the cloud market. But what is infrastructure service? We can create virtual machines, containers, and we can create here storage. And this is all corporate level, configurations there. Compliance policies are according to international standards of security, scalability, right? So containers, storage, network, databases, AI, then artificial intelligence, AI and AI plus ML, machine learning and artificial intelligence. So there are so many services that are being provided in infrastructure as a service, and it is offered in the cloud. Oh, it is offered in where? Cloud. So what is cloud then? Microsoft has, the top in the cloud is actually Amazon in terms of market share, and that is Amazon Web Services, right? And these guys actually were the pioneers of that, just like VMware is a pioneer of virtualization. Microsoft is considered pioneer of collaboration, like Microsoft 365, Teams, and all this. And then so AWS is the top in cloud service providers, or CSPs, and they have data centers across the planet. Okay, data centers across the planet, near every business hub, basically. So wherever there's a huge business. Oh, okay. Bucket says, please start recording. Did I start? So that's a very good thing, guys, to remind me, because white hair, so I forget. Although, okay, so data centers across the planet, and so in those data centers, you basically just remotely connect to those data centers, and you can create your resources there. Normally, I've been going with AWS whenever I was offering 2-in-1 courses, 3-in-1 courses, 4-in-1. And I was actually always insisting that students should learn AWS and Azure. Then I realized that the current job market actually, yes, AWS is very important. My elder brother, he's in Australia, and he's saying that, hey, in Australia, it's all AWS here. So he just pretty much same thing, job and teaching, just like I do. So the thing is that here I realize in North America, it's all Azure. Like there is AWS obviously, and multi-cloud like AWS and Azure. My current company, we have we are also a Microsoft shop, but we are pushing. I and another programmer admin. I and he is conspiring to have AWS, dragged into this company, so we could really enjoy some better. There are some better features in AWS that are not as good in Azure. Azure is still, Microsoft is still catching up with. Also, although Microsoft has really caught up a lot, but still catching up with AWS. AWS is way ahead, but adoptability rate, Microsoft wins there because of the central contract for providing all the licenses, and because there's so much Windows Server in infrastructure. So learning Azure Microsoft product is still easier than going for AWS. So the trend is towards Azure. So that, and so many jobs are in the market for Azure. So I thought that let's go for full Microsoft combination of skills. So data centers across the planet, AWS has, and they offer the same infrastructure as a service where you can consume services, underlying hardware, underlying CPU, their servers, thousands and thousands of servers are actually, okay, whenever we talk about it, we should better see it. So AWS data centers. Data centers would look like any other building, right? So, well, first of all, across the planet, there are data centers in every continent. Wherever there's business hubs and there are investments going on, there are big factories and Silicon Valley, wherever there is. So you would see data centers of AWS, Microsoft Azure in blue. They also have data centers across the planet near all the business hubs. In the data centers, obviously inside, that's long rows and rows of physical servers, blades there that really you would be, they would be, hosting all the applications that we are remotely connecting to, right? So, and how they are interconnected, there are submarine cables, and then there are dedicated dug-in cables, and then there are satellite connections there through which the whole planet is connected. But the main thing would be that AWS and Microsoft had put their own cabling, submarine cables even. Google Cloud is right now, or last year, it was putting their submarine cable through Middle Eastern continent. And so the main point here, what I'm saying is that the cloud infrastructure providers are putting their own network across the planet. They're investing on such a level, right? So that's why they say that our networks are secure, because we're not taking your data on rented submarine cables. We are actually putting that on our own network. So it would be a really expensive thing to do, go for putting submarine cables there, and then getting your data across the oceans to the other continent. So that's why it's a big investment being done by AWS, Microsoft, and Amazon, Microsoft, and then Google Cloud, and then Alibaba Cloud. So they're all doing the investment. So your data travels on, suppose you are in Azure, so your data actually travels on their private backbone, their private network, right? It's not on rented, although obviously it would be wherever their network is still not there, you would switch to common internet. Otherwise, your data will be traveling across the continents on their, lines, submarine lines. So there's a comment. Sal says, when you talk about containers, you mean large 1,000+ scale like Kubernetes? Yes, exactly. So when we talk about containers, that's, well, other than what I'm talking about here, containers is, just like virtual machines here, and they're lighter. They offer isolated environment for applications, and you can, if you have thousands of containers there, so you can go for Kubernetes software application, that is container orchestration software. But yes, it's a light virtual machine kind of type of technology where you can install an application with very less footprint of an operating system.
So your machine's gonna have the OS, obviously. Then it's gonna have the software, and then it's gonna have the containers on top of that, right?
Exactly.
For the apps. So if my app, say for example, I want like Visual Studio, I can put that on top of a container, right?
Well, how did you connect this submarine cable to containers? I'm just
No. I'm talking about the IIS. I know it's because we talked about this before, right?
Yeah. So I was gonna come to
sure.
this, but I was thinking that how submarine cable.
No, I'm not. I wasn't thinking about submarine cables. I know I've seen submarine cables before. I know somebody that installs them. Actually,
Nice.
I know somebody that does that for a
Scuba
living.
diving and then went to submarine cables, right?
He does that for a living. Actually, it's pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's underwater welding and stuff.
Scary.
Too. Pretty cool.
Cool. So yeah, so we'll be coming to containers, but when I'm introducing all the topics, and there will be container topic, and we'll talk about that. But I'm just going through some, there are others who may not know submarine cables, right? So that's why. But definitely, we're going to be talking about containers. Okay, so this is just a background I'm giving to you. And the main point here is that AWS, Microsoft, they're offering, their own network when it comes. So when we are saying, are we secure? Is our data traveling across continents is secure? So yes, Microsoft says that, hey, your data will be, traveling on our own private network instead of on the rented, where all the shared data of thousands of other companies is also moving. Thousands of other country, hundreds of other countries' data is also moving there. So their private network, your data is moving. So that is how secure your, their Microsoft and AWS's network is. But they are investing more and more in that, right? So we're talking about what is data center, and data centers across the planet. They all have data centers. So Microsoft also has, AWS also has. They normally do a count there. Hey, we have that many regions, and we have that many availability zones, and then we have that many, data centers. So when I say that, I'll be talking about what is regions, availability zones, and data centers. But what I'm saying that the top in the market in IaaS, infrastructure service, where you remotely connect to our data center to do all these tasks, to create all these resources. So the top in that field is AWS. Then comes second is Microsoft with Microsoft Azure. And we're still talking about infrastructure service. We're not talking about SaaS yet. And in so Azure also is providing same set of data centers across the planet in every business hub, near every business hub. And then the third one, now I used to say third one, but Google Cloud has really gotten up in the top of the list. It still has a lot of catching up to do in terms of market share, in terms of income, in terms of clients. But still, this certification, Google Cloud certification, is right now top in 2020 and 2021 because they are more programmer friendly. That's one reason. Second thing is, as Sal also was talking about, their containerization. Containerization was they're the pioneers of containerization. So whoever is the pioneer, because everyone's going towards and leaving virtual machines towards containerization. We're going to talk about in detail about whatever I'm talking about, right? So container may be a new thing for many of you. So difference between virtual machine and container. So Google Cloud is the pioneer of containerization, and that's why that Google Cloud platform has gone up in demand in North American, in pretty much all the market, because if you're a programmer and you want and you're told to deploy your customized applications to the cloud, in the cloud, either you will be deploying it on virtual machines or you will be deploying it on containers. So that's where Google Cloud comes up, and it's really gaining a lot of momentum in terms of market share. But that's still third best cloud services provider. And then comes, well, then there's Oracle Cloud. And last year, I added that course, and what we discovered there was that it's Oracle Cloud is nowhere there where AWS, Microsoft, Azure, and Google Cloud are. Oracle Cloud is offering their Oracle databases in the cloud, offering Oracle databases in cloud. That's pretty much what they're doing, and not a lot of flexibility in terms of what is in terms of storage, networking, and virtual machines. Not a lot of features there. So this is not even in the line of all the clouds, but good to know that it's there. If your companies have Oracle databases, so if you want to move them to cloud, so Oracle do offer Oracle Cloud, the public cloud, that is their own remote data centers where you can host your databases, right? So the first type is infrastructure service. Then we go for platform as a service. That's for developers mainly, and you don't have to worry about underlying hardware, underlying operating system, and you can deploy applications. It's the application level that you're really working on, so not much there if you're not a developer. But then our main second attraction here would be, other than infrastructure as a service, IaaS is SaaS, which is software as a service. So definitely there, you don't have to deploy anything. It's just there waiting for you to be customized. So our course, this same 4-in-1 course I offered last year was all infrastructure as a service, right? So it was AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, Oracle Cloud, but now it's a combination of infrastructure as a service as well as SaaS, software as a service. So in software as a service, you have what? You have Azure Active Directory. It's the same Active Directory, but in cloud. The good thing is you don't have to deploy this Active Directory. It's already deployed. You just have to customize it. Second thing, it is having Exchange Online, so you don't have to deploy Exchange server. It's already deployed, so no worry about the underlying hardware, no worry about the underlying operating system on top of which the Exchange server is deployed. You just worry about the Exchange server policies, how the company emails are going, and how they are performing. So that is in first platform. Platform. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Thank you. And so Exchange Online, you know, when you move away the underlying servers, so big deal is you don't have to worry about then the RAID, the disks being going to Amber, and you don't worry about the network. You don't worry about the infrastructure you have in your company. Also, the operating system level, you don't have to worry about the monthly updates of the operating systems. You have to restart on the second Tuesday, right? That's where, but still Exchange Online offers a lot. There's a lot that happens. There's a huge amount of policies there that are still that still requires some kind of skill there by the administrator of software as a service. So when I was interviewed a year ago, they saw that I have experience on AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. So they were simply Microsoft shop, and they also saw that I have infrastructure experience handling this in a bank environment here, and then in a university I was also working. Oh, I didn't introduce myself, so there I will do. So the thing is that they did ask a lot of questions about the SaaS part of their network, because they had a lot of data. They have a lot of data there, and there's so much work need to be done on security and policies there. So lots of questions came from Azure Active Directory, Exchange Online, and Teams, as well as SharePoint, which is not, it is also it also offers a huge amount of features, but main questions were Azure, Exchange Online, Teams Online, and Intune, which is Endpoint Manager. That's another one. So, but the thing is that software as a service means you don't have to deploy anything. It's just deployed already. You just start paying per month some charges and start using whatever license you get. Then you start using the software right away. Just start customizing it. So there are a long list of features even in that when it comes to Azure Active Directory, Exchange Online, Teams Online, and Intune. But this is just software as a service example. There are databases that are available as SaaS in Azure. Like the databases can be deployed within cloud, but you don't have to worry about the operating system, underlying virtual machine. It's just there. You just have to customize this. So many services are there. What are the example? Another example of SaaS would be, well, there every site, like there is G Suite, right? G Suite is all software as a service, and Salesforce is software as a service, and there are so many other banks have that ticketing system. Oh, I forgot the name. Seriously, what was the ticketing system in that normally bank has?
ServiceNow.
ServiceNow, exactly. Yeah, thank you. So ServiceNow, well, everything else is SaaS or software as a service, where the software is just there. So this course revolves around then one course about Azure, which is infrastructure as a service, because now you are using Microsoft's underlying storage, underlying network, underlying servers, obviously, which is CPU, which is compute. This is called compute. I should have added that first, actually. Compute means you're using their CPU, RAM, right? So if you're using their underlying hardware anyway, so that's infrastructure as a service. If you're just using their software that is already installed there, then it is SaaS or software as a service you're using, right? So okay, in the chat. Oh, so there was some comments in the chat. I retyped something. Okay. Anyway, the second thing, Zakir says, hybrid comes under what category? IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So right now I'm talking about, Zakir, all the cloud only, right? So I'm going to go to hybrid now and explain where are we standing in terms of the on-premises and cloud. But all three of these do not include hybrid. Hybrid is still separate. So hybrid is on-premises connected to cloud, whether it is IaaS or PaaS or SaaS, right? So, but I'm coming towards that too. Bakar says websites goes where? PaaS. So websites are, they are, you can just deploy your code there. So they could be SaaS and PaaS both. Normally it would be PaaS then. But it's not considered really cloud usage, although they are in the cloud definitely. They were there before as well. In this categorization, normally we have big application, enterprise grade applications that come in this category, right? Okay, so Malik says in the chat, is 365 SaaS or IaaS? Yes, it is SaaS. So Microsoft 365, M365, which has a long list of applications, and main applications are Azure Active Directory, Exchange Online, Teams Online, SharePoint Online, OneDrive, Intune. So that's all SaaS. This is all SaaS, right? So this course is a mixture of one IaaS, which is Azure AZ104. So Azure Administration, right? Administration, and this is then Exchange, Teams, and Intune. Well, it's there as well, but these are all SaaS based. So this is how this course is divided. It's about the demand in the market. Because of that, I've chosen this combination. I could have gone for AWS and Azure and then Exchange and Teams. But Intune, I see, and some new job announcements there, some new projects that are starting. Whoever is about to move to cloud will have to. So suppose in the bank, okay, I was in Scotiabank before, and for 5 years I worked there. So we had 80,000 devices there, same with all other banks as well, right? So we were handling those with SCCM. Now those guys are moving. They've been moving towards cloud, and the demand is now that, hey, from SCCM we use devices perfectly, but because people are working from home, so we have to move towards cloud. So then they're going for Intune or they have AirWatch as well. So that's from VMware, right? Mobile device management. So the thing is that you have to move to cloud, either Intune or some other solution, AirWatch or any other solution for mobile device management. So overall, I've chosen this combination because of the demand in the market and because of the new job announcements they are asking for this. I'm starting to see this Intune mentioned, or MDM, any kind of MDM experience mentioned there. Okay, so there's another comment in the chat. Sal says Workspace ONE, I think it's called, yes, Workspace ONE, Sal, which
I think it's an MDM it's not Intune, but it's MDM.
Okay,
It's
cool.
unified.
Yeah, Workspace is from VMware or from
VMware? Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, a lot of people use that. My experience.
And Bakar says in the chat, can you briefly describe what is Azure AD, Exchange Online, Teams, Intune, so people with no IT knowledge can understand? Oh, okay, sure. Well, actually, that's a big part of our today's class that I'm going to be explaining in detail, actually, all the three unified endpoint management. Okay, so that says unified endpoint management. Thank you. So, well, guys, we were talking about, first of all, what is IaaS, platform as a service, and software as a service. Then second thing is that there's a question now that can you explain briefly about Azure? So I was planning to do that a bit later, but since the question is here now, so Azure Active Directory we're talking about, and what it does. So let's just go for a scenario here, and then we can talk about that. Suppose there's a company here, right? And that company is that. So whenever you say Intune, just always remember this is endpoint manager. Point manager, right? Okay, so suppose there's a company here and they're on premises, and suppose there's a Toronto branch here. So Toronto branch, just like any typical company data center, they have a lot of servers there, right? And so suppose there are these physical machines here, and those physical machines have, suppose there are ESXi hypervisors, ESXi hypervisors. I'm taking a lot of terminology. I'm seeing a lot of terminology here for non-IT or new to IT. It would be a little difficult. So these are hypervisors, and these hypervisors, the only job of a hypervisor is to host virtual machines, right? So suppose there is a virtual machine with the file server, there's a virtual machine with web server, virtual machine, so on, with the actual Active Directory, virtual machine with print server, you're printing, right? So all those virtual machines are here, and these virtual machines, end users are connecting to those virtual machines here a lot. And suppose there's a file server here, FS, and then there's a web server here, WS, and there's a print server here. So these are 500 people connected here, suppose file server, 2,000 people are connected to web server, suppose, and maybe 1,000 people are connecting to the print server. Then there are Active Directory, AD here, maybe another additional domain controller here as well, and SQL Server databases here, right? So when all this is there and they're using, so the company decided that, hey, everyone's going to cloud. First of all, our data center here, the per month cost of the data center is huge, and we need to actually take down our cost. And the company, your company, has seen other companies going to cloud, and then realizing that their cost for per month maintenance of their data center has gone really, really low compared to what they're paying. So maybe they're paying the property rent, and they're paying the data center security, and the contract for all the IBM and other servers. So the cost for our local data center maintenance is huge. So now the company decides that, okay, how about we go to cloud, and in the cloud, what we need is, oh, we have databases here. Okay, how about, can we have a database here? Yes, we can have a database here. Oh, we can have a virtual machine with file server. Yes, we can have that too. Actually, why a virtual machine with file server when you have a SharePoint there? SharePoint, you can share all the files there. You can download the files. You can do a lot more than there. So instead of file server, why don't we have a SharePoint? And do you have a storage there? Yes, we have OneDrive. You can upload all the files there, and they have corporate level scalability and security there, right? So then the company decides also, hey, we have databases on premises. How about having databases in the cloud? Just coming here. Cool. Okay, so serious guys, just a sec. I did it. Just give me a second. It's muted. Anyway, so how about databases? We have databases here, right? So why don't we go for that too? So company decided that I do not want to maintain my local Toronto branch data center in downtown Toronto, maybe financial district or entertainment district or whichever district. But the cost of maintaining this on-premises data center, why don't I just move my file server? So from now on, I'm not going to have a file server here. Instead, I'm going to tell my employees to connect to the SharePoint online app that they can access from home as well. Now, when the pandemic started, suppose you didn't have the cloud infrastructure, so your employees needed to connect to the branch and then connect to the file server. So how do they connect? Through VPN, right? Some smaller companies were going through remote desktop services, which is not secure at all. But they were doing that. Well, there are other implementations of that that may be considered secure, but not as secure as VPN. So you would give clients, hey, why don't you connect to VPN to our company and then to the file server. VPN is virtual private network. It is very secure. It has IPsec protocol there. It has all kind of hacker proof security. It's, well, nothing is 100% secure, but it's better than, much better than others. So instead of giving the clients VPN, suppose the VPN software does not work and they cannot connect, and there you go, they can't connect to the branch. How can they work? So how about from their internet, they connect to the SharePoint and just share the files, download the files, and do their work, right? What about web server? Oh, we can have web servers as a virtual machine here in Azure, and we can have IaaS Internet Information Services here, right? Or Apache, maybe you have Linux services. So why don't we have that in the cloud as well? Okay, I don't need web server here as well. This means when you are lessening the machines, when you are removing the roles, the applications, then you need very less physical servers. So suppose the underlying servers are from IBM, right? So now you need very less of the physical servers. Okay, what does that translate into? You need lesser real estate space. You're paying for one floor in a downtown building, and that's your millions of dollars going in just real estate per month. So then you say, okay, I need half a floor now because many of my services are moved to the cloud now. So I don't need a bigger floor and a data center here. I need half of it. So I'm saving my millions of dollars now, right? I'm saving my millions of dollars because of that, because I moved all my applications to the cloud. Okay, so real estate cost is down and other costs are also down, less maintenance of the physical servers in your on-premises branch, right? So you can move all the roles slowly, which are on-premises, to the cloud. Especially in the pandemic, everyone was pushed towards that. Companies who didn't want to go to cloud at all had to actually move some of their critical workload to the cloud. Microsoft was a big winner here. AWS also was and is still, but Microsoft was also a big winner in terms of Microsoft 365. So the scenario is that now the company has SharePoint. Now the company says, hey, our file servers have moved. So please do not connect from VPN, and please connect to the SharePoint in the cloud. So the end users ask, how? Hey boss, how do I connect? So they say that, okay, your user account was here in Active Directory. Why don't we synchronize your user accounts here to Azure Active Directory? Okay, but first of all, what is Active Directory? What does it do? Do we really need that Active Directory? So obviously you need that. So when you're entering any premises, you have some kind of security guards there or security mechanisms there. You put the fob there and your date, and then you go inside. So there's some kind of authentication here. So you need to have, first of all, the first line of defense, obviously, authentication, then authorization, and then auditing and accounting, right? So you need to have all that. So if it is important in on-premises, obviously it's even more important in the cloud. So you have Active Directory doing authentication, authorization, accounting, or auditing here. on premises, obviously you need the same mechanism up in the cloud. So you have there the security guard sitting outside here. It's also part of the cloud. The security guard sitting here will be confirming, hey, before you use SharePoint, can you tell me who are you, right? So what is your username and what is your password, right? And then you can check it out. So once the username password is checked, and how did, suppose you have here 1,000 users or 10,000 users or 50,000 users, right? So this is our first lab as well. I also call it pilot project, or this is our first lab that is upcoming, and I'll be giving the details that how to synchronize the 1,000 users which are sitting in the local on-premises branch Active Directory. The usernames and passwords are here. How do we synchronize this to Azure Active Directory and then let these users use our application? So first you have to tell us what is your username, what is your password, and it will be the same as your username password was here. So suppose user John was here and the password whatever. So user John was his username was moved up in the cloud. So exactly same username and exactly same password which user John is using here has to be here as well, because it's synchronization, right? So then once the Azure Activity says, oh yeah, I see that this is user John, yes, you're our employee, and yes, this is the password I have also. So yeah, you can log into our cloud and now you can use SharePoint, right? And so this is where Azure Active Directory comes, that how Azure Active Directory really works. This is not the only task it does. Exactly, with AADC, as Sal says in the comment, Azure Active Directory Connect. So the thing is that Azure Active Directory comes and checks that, hey, before you even start using these applications in the cloud, can you tell me who you are? Okay, I know that you're our employee, but what kind of permissions you have? What kind of authorization you have? Oh, you can use SharePoint only this folder, that folder, this folder, finance folder, and administration folder, but you cannot access any other folders here, right? And you want to upload something here? Okay, so you have permissions or authorization from to only use some of the folders here in OneDrive, which is just you upload files and folders here, right? So, and then auditing is excellent here in Azure Active Directory. Lots of automated auditing is done, that who logged in at what time, for how long, and using what applications, and what changes were made to those applications. It's all being done automatically by Azure Active Directory. And you can get very handsome reports there, very detailed reports there about who logged in at what time, right? So there are very good security mechanisms there as well that we will be discussing as we discuss Azure Active Directory. But the main purpose of Azure Active Directory, it's authentication, authorization, and auditing or accounting. So it's that security guard that you really need to have in your environment. So the second thing is Exchange Online. So that's the backbone of your network. How does your company conduct business? Through emails, right? So those emails, well, in Scotiabank, I was in the best, Microsoft infrastructure team. So there, if there was an email delay of 1 hour, the investigation would launch, and then we have to do the message trace and then check that what was the reason that the email was delayed for 1 hour, right? So email didn't reach, big deal. Then we have to go there. We have to check that as well, how to trace that. And so there are the emails securely being sent? So email inbound, outbound, mail flow. So that is called mail flow. So we need to always make sure that the mail flow is good, and there's security of the email, and there's scalability. Suppose you have right now 10,000 users, but you banks, quietly purchase a lot of companies. So suppose your bank all of a sudden had 5,000 more employees or 10,000 more employees. So can it scale to such a level to have so many mailboxes of so many employees there, right? And then there are compliance policies, and in compliance you have to comply with the international standards of the email or messaging infrastructure there. And then so email, that's a company's backbone. There's a lot of features that's going to come our way, and we're going to discuss all those one by one in Exchange Online. Then comes Teams Online, that is meetings and conferences. So that happens in every company all the day. And our directors, normally directors and managers, they're always in the meeting. So if Team goes down, we hear it right away. Hey, what happened to Teams? And if it's an outage on Microsoft, regional level outage, our continent level outage, so we know it right away because all the senior management is on our shoulders, right? Okay, Sal says, I'm not sure if this had to do with your issue, but was the max data set in KB when using Exchange Online? Yes, it was set in KB, Sal. Okay, another question is Abdul Hadi is asking, Exchange Online is Office 365? Sal, the limit is I think 35 KB, 35 MB. It is set in KB, but this 35,000 KB, so it's 35 MB. Okay, so there are other questions. Yeah, that's maximum. So, Sal, we'll be connecting to Exchange Online, and then we're gonna.
I'll show you a picture.
Okay.
That
so
is 35
Sal, it's what we were not discussing right now. So that's why at once if there's anything that current discussion has to do with, you can ask that, right? So, well. Okay, guys. Exchange Online. There's our other questions as well. Abdul Hadi says in chat, Exchange Online is Office 365. Yes. Okay, let me. Obviously, it's going to be new for so many. So all kinds of questions are always welcome, right? So Azure Active Directory is okay. Let me just start from here. Office 365. When you say that Office 365, that's the old name. Newer name is Microsoft 365, right? You will still see Office 365 mentioned there, but what is Office 365? Word, Excel, PowerPoint? No. I mean, yes and no. So you have Word, Excel, PowerPoint there, yes. But you have so many enterprise-grade applications of Microsoft added in the cloud under the platform of Office. They named it Office 365, then they have Exchange under it, they have Teams under it. It used to be called Link before, and after that Link, then Skype for Business, and then now Teams. So this older name Office 365, newer name is Microsoft 365. What does it include? It includes pretty much everything. It includes Azure Active Directory, AD, and then the list goes on. Exchange, it includes Teams, it includes SharePoint. I'm writing that again, but under this context now. And Yammer. There are third-party 3,500 other applications that are connected with Azure and Office 365. But what is under Office 365? Its newer name is Microsoft 365. So it's Azure AD, Exchange, Teams, SharePoint, Yammer, OneDrive, Dynamics 365, Dynamics 365, Endpoint Manager, right? So Endpoint Manager. So all that is, and there is, if I show you the Admin Center, there's a long list of applications here. Okay, I'm kind of there. So if I go to the Admin Center here, if it lets me, and show all. So under Microsoft 365 Admin Center, if I go to all Admin Center is what? Admin of security, admin of compliance application, admin of Endpoint Manager application, Azure Active Directory admin, Exchange admin, SharePoint admin, Teams admin, and it goes on. So this is the list of all the big applications, enterprise grade applications, smaller and large. Azure Advanced Threat Protection, compliance. That's a lot of security tools here, compliance tools here. Endpoint Manager, Intune, Exchange, Office Preparation. Well, that's not, that's just a configuration. Power Apps, big application, new application. It automates a lot of stuff. Power Automate, a separate name to that. Search and Intelligence, Security, SharePoint, Stream, Teams, Yammer. So these are big applications. And then there are long list of smaller applications as well. But when you go to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, then you see major application and set of tools as Azure Active Directory, Exchange, SharePoint, Teams. Teams, Exchange, Azure Active Directory, these three we are covering. And the fourth one is this Endpoint Manager. So these are the main enterprise grade applications that are in Microsoft 365, out of which 4 most critical we are covering here, right? Okay, that's one thing. What is under Microsoft 365? So this is a direct view of the main applications that are under Microsoft 365, other than Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Yes, these are the main, and you need to have skills on all these. So I've chosen the most important ones. I deal with, so when you are in the office and you have cloud infrastructure, you're going to be always coming here, Microsoft 365 Admin Center, and you will be always dealing with this section, always. As a cloud administrator, Azure administrator, you will be dealing with security, compliance, Endpoint Manager, Azure Active Directory, Exchange, SharePoint, Teams. You'll be dealing with all of them pretty much. Also, some of this here, like Dynamics 365. Oh, I don't have that. Okay, so Dynamics 365 is also there. There are some applications, big applications missing here because of the licenses. This is my purchased subscription, but I have, so I will be telling you what is subscription as well, but these are all the applications in Microsoft 365, a bit more as well. Okay, so how about SharePoint Online? Yeah, so this is also, Mariam says that in the chat. So this is also part of Microsoft 365 Admin Center. These are all enterprise grade applications, big applications, right? And then there is Zakir says Teams Online and Intune products of Microsoft. Okay, there you go. So yes, Endpoint Manager is Intune. So yes, it is a product of Microsoft. What is the other one? Teams. Yep, it is a product of Microsoft because Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So these are all the products of Microsoft, and we are doing this Endpoint Manager, which is Intune, Azure Active Directory, Exchange, and Teams, right? And Sal says, sorry guys, minimum is 1 to, okay, that's still another topic going on. So now here, so you know, all the questions and confusion would be gone now. That what is under Microsoft, pretty much what we're talking about here, this is under Microsoft, right? So as the questions arrive, guys, I have to deviate a little and answer those questions, which is also very important that, you know, people would be still confused at which is under what. So this is a very good question. Oh, okay. So Chethi says that in the chat where I can find Tenant. So Chethi, it's normally here in Azure Active Directory. If you go to Azure Active Directory, and we're going to be doing the first lab, and that is the all hands-on, and that is going to be how to add a tenant. That's the first thing we're going to do in our lab. So Azure Active Directory, and there you go, manage tenants here, right? And how to add a domain, that is custom domain names here, and then add custom domain. So add another domain in the tenant. So all that we'll be doing in the first lab, upcoming lab, right? So, okay, guys, and keep coming about those questions. There's an admin in Azure. Yeah. All right, good. So now we were talking about first IaaS, infrastructure as a service, and then we were talking about SaaS, which is software as a service, right? And IaaS has Azure Administration, and SaaS has these applications here. Okay, that would also cause a little confusion. Let me clarify one more thing here. Azure Active Directory. Okay, guys, let me give you one more small point here that you might be asking later. So we have IaaS, infrastructure as a service, and under that we have Azure. The certification name is AZ104, right? And this is IaaS based Azure. Here you can create VMs, network, storage, and databases, right? So that's IaaS. Then we have Microsoft 365. What is that? Microsoft 365. This is SaaS. Okay, we know that, right? What's my point now? My point is Azure Active Directory, which is the security guard, Azure Active Directory, which is the security guard of Azure resources, which means if the end users are connecting to end user wants to, or administrator wants to create a virtual machine. First, the user has to say username, password, and then whatever authorization user has, the user has to go through Azure Active Directory and then use the networking, resources, storage, databases. So that same Azure Active Directory, because this is also Microsoft services, Exchange, Teams, Intune, these are all Microsoft services, right? So these guys need to be authenticated with also what? Azure Active Directory, right? So if any user wants to go use SharePoint, Intune, Teams, first that person, he or she has to put his or her username, password, and then whatever the authorization is, can use Exchange, Teams, Intune. So is there a difference between this Azure and this Microsoft 365? Yes, this is infrastructure as a service. So this is the course also included here. We're going to start with actually Exchange Online and Teams and Intune. Then we're going to go for AZ104. So this is infrastructure. So when you do that, obviously you will understand even better as a service, right? And this is software as a service, right? What's the difference? Software as a service. So what's the difference? They both have Azure Active Directory. I can see that. Yeah. Then what's the difference? Difference is that here you are using underlying hardware of Microsoft. You're using it as a data center. You're creating virtual machines. You're creating new networks. You're creating new storage. You're creating new databases, right? While here, everything is already installed and you're just logging in and start customizing it according to your company needs. So Microsoft's SaaS product has a security guard called Azure Active Directory. Microsoft's IaaS product also has a security guard called Azure Active Directory, right? So Azure Active Directory you will see wherever you see Microsoft products, right? But this one course is added, AZ104 is added here, which will be separately taught once these three are done, right? So you will see Azure Active Directory there as well. And since we are going for Exchange, Teams, and Intune courses first, so here also we're going to study Azure Active Directory, right? So this is the one difference that you must understand. Okay. Okay, I think Sal is talking to in a different chat, but his answers are coming in because I think this is a part of some other conversation going on here. Okay, anyway, so the thing is that we have some clarification into the 4 products because I've added 4 different courses. That's why I need to explain the bigger picture here first, that what side is this? It's a combination of Exchange, Teams, and Intune. This is SaaS. What side is this? It's just one full Azure data center related skills. So these 2 group of applications, this whole Azure infrastructure skill and Azure software as a service skill are both critical. When you say you're migrating, this is what you're facing right away. As soon as you open your eyes after migrations, well, your eyes will be open when migration is going on, obviously. But when you have started working day-to-day tasks, you will see this guy, you will see these applications. These are must have. I mean, every company has to have email. Every company will be doing meetings and conferences. Every company will be handling either on-premises SCCM, System Center Configuration Manager, or they will be handling those thousands of devices from cloud. So, and every company will be creating virtual machines, networking, storage, and databases. So you are facing these sets. So that's why I chose carefully this combination here in SaaS and Azure Cloud Platform full, because this combination is very, very critical for you if you want to get to know what happens during and after the migration. Obviously, what actual applications you're facing there. So these are one of the main applications that you'll be facing there. So that's why these four are really critical to understand as soon as possible, because more people are learning this. So by the time, suppose next year that after 2 years you decide, oh, okay, yes, now I see everywhere it is Exchange, Teams, Intune, and this. Well, let's do this code. By that time, thousands of others would have already done it. Then you will scratch your head. Okay, so this is no longer in demand now. So what new should I do? So now it is in real serious demand. So that's why you should be going for these two combination of courses. Okay, there are more questions here. Zakir says, is Azure Active Directory different from on-prem Active Directory? No. Azure Active Directory in the cloud, yes, have slightly different features, as well as 80% or more the same features as on premises. So when you see Azure Active Directory or online Active Directory, cloud Active Directory, pretty much the interface would be obviously different, but the logic of users, groups, and domain adding, and well, there are no containers now. So, but the logic is still the same. It's authentication, authorization, and accounting. Its interface is different. Some newer features are there according to the cloud requirements. Otherwise, the rest is same. So it's not that different from on-premises and cloud. Okay. Hey, good. Turn off all. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so this is one difference here. And then there's a question. Bakar says in chat, Azure AD in IaaS and SaaS are same or different? Yes. So that's a very good question. Azure AD in IaaS is exactly the same Azure AD that is in Microsoft 365. So suppose your company is only using this, but is not using this, suppose. So you will have Azure Active Directory here as well. But normally, majority of the companies have Azure as an infrastructure. They have some virtual machines, they have some databases there, they are using storage, while they're also using Exchange, Teams there as well. So that's why then these two Azure Active Directories are then mixed up. So you just handle one Azure Active Directory. Because you're using these resources, you just have to go through one Azure Active Directory. In that case, it's just mixed. So you want to use this Exchange, or you want to use create a virtual machine. You just go through. It's not like for this you have a different Azure Active Directory, and for this you have different. So they simply merge the two environments if you're using both of them. Some company, very few companies, they're either only using this or only using this. So in that case, you still find Azure Active Directory there. It's just a security guard that has to be there, and it has to check if the employee's hours and authorization is good, right? So they merge if you're using both features. Otherwise, they don't. You still find them there, right? Okay. So keep the questions coming, guys, because I'm going to go ahead and talk about more stuff here. If I go to my other writing here, right? So you have, we've talked about IaaS, platform service, SaaS. We're covering IaaS and SaaS right now. So other than that, and this is all totally Microsoft courses. I'm going to go back to, I had another diagram here. Yeah, here, yes. So the company is moving toward cloud. So this is our first lab also upcoming, that we will be actually synchronizing we're going to create an on-premises environment. We're going to create one domain controller in a virtual machine in a VMware workstation. And then we'll create 390 users there. We're going to synchronize those users to our Azure free trial or pay-as-you-go subscription. I'm going to explain all that too. But will be our first lab, how to synchronize on-premises users to cloud and then attach them to all the applications and let them use that. So I always start my Microsoft courses with this lab, synchronization, how to do synchronization, right? This is very, very critical. Okay, so other than that, I'm just going to go back here to the slide. The discussion started from here. Bakar says, please give few examples of platform as a service. So normally this is for developers. That's why, because I'm more towards infrastructure side and from development side, if scripts are considered development, so that's what I do. But other than that, I don't do development. So the examples would be there that you have deployed an application on, let me just go to that diagram where I put that pass. Yeah. So pass would be that you have an application here, you have a virtual machine. You don't have to worry about the OS already installed. OS would be already installed there. You would just deploy an application, suppose Visual Studio, right? And then you have to connect it through APIs, application programming interfaces, to some on-premises application that you have developed or you have the code level access to that, and you have the environment to work on that. So when you're deploying an application, all the, there's a DevOps related side to it in the past, that how to automatically create the code and implement that code in a virtual machine. Then there are containers, which are, there's a very small footprint of OS and the whole thing is just isolated application there. How do you automatically deploy applications? Suppose it's an insurance company application, right, that you came up with, or hospital application here. So how do you deploy the application? How do you make sure that it is continuously updated with DevOps, and how they are connected with APIs to the on-premises application, if you have that, or if you have those applications in other clouds like AWS or in other regions, in other continents, in AWS or Azure data center. So the main point about platform as a service would be that you don't have to worry about the underlying virtual machine there. PaaS could be offered as software as a service as well as infrastructure as a service, some aspect of that, right? But main thing is you deploy an application. How do you want to do that? And then how do you keep updating the code of that application? And third thing is, how do you connect with outside software from or application from another vendor through the coding, right? So all that is done by platform as a service. The developers normally are doing that. But you worry about the application, you don't worry about the OS, you don't worry about the virtual machine and virtual CPU and virtual RAM and storage about that. You just worry about what the application is working and how do they connect this environment to other applications and update the code level, do the code level updates there. So that is platform as a service, mostly for developers. That's why I normally don't touch it. Otherwise, developer side is also huge and different, right?
Amir, give me one example of a platform that you've seen.
Well, again, I'm not a developer, so there you go. So there's a diagram there as well that would solve really. Let me just give this. So Bakar has shared this, and platform as a service. So you can see on premises, everything's on premises here. And then, yeah, I'm coming to the example as well. Infrastructure as a service, you have applications, data, runtime, middleware, OS, but you don't worry about virtualization, servers, storage, networking here. Platform service, applications and data is there, but you don't worry about runtime, middleware, OS. You don't worry about virtualization or virtual machine underlying. You don't worry about server storage. And then software as a service, you don't worry about anything actually. The software is just there to be used, right? So the example would be when you're deploying Visual Studio or any other application, again, if I'm a developer, I would know all the steps of that too. But I'm a or system administration side and cloud architect and cloud administration side. And so that's why I work with developers. They do all the development. And when they talk developer, then I say, English, please. And they're like, oh, okay, sorry. Then they create diagrams for me. I say that, hey, I'm infrastructure guy. Come on, give me that. What do you need? You need permissions. You need infrastructure. You need networking. You need storage. Let me know with what kind of permissions. But when you talk about applications being deployed in what way, then I would have to switch to English, please. Okay, anyway, so the thing is that if you're deploying some application, you're not worried about what kind of virtual machine you need, what kind of CPU, RAM you need, although you need to still put it there, but that what CPU and RAM you need, but it's not the virtual machine that you need to handle. Infrastructure side is what you don't need to handle. You just handle data and applications. But if you ask for an example, then since I'm not a developer, so this is our developer side question. So any developer here? Okay. So yeah, this much I can say, but I cannot give a example, but I can ask for Monday, hey developer, because we have a big team of developers there. And I can ask for an example from them and let you know about that.
So servers and storage is something your company manages and you don't?
Servers and storages
Yeah.
in platform as a service?
Yeah.
So
Servers.
yeah, we handle that.
No,
So,
I'm talking about the person who gave me this picture. Whoever designed this says that others. I don't know who this is, but they're saying other manages, right? Servers and storage. Isn't that like infrastructure?
yeah, this is infrastructure.
No, I'm talking about underneath platform as a service. This is something that we would manage. Yeah.
No. In this way, platform as a service, it will be all provided by
So
the cloud services provider.
this is
So
not. This is okay.
you would go for those applications and services in cloud that offers that, right? I would not go for virtual machines to do this. Then there are many developer services there where you just put the code and they just simply work.
I'd do anything.
Cool. Okay, so
I think the best example for the PaaS is the Azure web apps, where we can host the websites directly. So we don't have
you
to
put the code there and they just simply work.
Yes,
I mean, you don't have to
yes,
worry about
yes.
underlying. You're right. Exactly. A web app, and there are long list of actually developer related. I'm forgetting those names because we normally don't use the developers use those. Yeah,
I
that's
think
what it is.
it's Microsoft App Services as well.
Yeah, app services. So I'm gonna at least introduce, in the Azure area, what that area is, and when you go to the wizard, how does it really work? But you deploy just the app. That's it. You don't worry about the underlying virtual machine and network. Cool. All right, thank you. All right, guys. So let's try to go ahead. Because that was a good picture. I mean, this is what exactly we needed. I was, in fact, in my slide, I didn't go ahead yet. I was just discussing these main topics, and then we're gonna go ahead now. And this same picture might come there as well. But thank you for sharing that. So top cloud services, I already mentioned, it's AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and Oracle Cloud, Alibaba Cloud, and there are a long list of other services, but these are the main players there. I already mentioned that within Azure, we're going for IaaS and then 3 applications from SaaS, right? Okay, so mostly what type of jobs title we were targeting and duties and responsibility for that title. So job title, first of all, when we talk about job, so the main thing here would be to stick to the ground realities, right? So market loves, when it comes to job market, so market loves what? You have experience? Okay. And second thing is that how much knowledge and skills you have, right? Skills. So what we are targeting here after this is, first of all, it would be cloud architect, cloud administration, and well, you can say business analyst. They also get this kind of jobs. Technical analyst is actually not business analyst. Technical analyst would get this, and junior administrator, junior cloud administrator, analyst, cloud administrator, you can go for. So if you're searching for these, they will ask normally. Now, when you go for job announcements, they would like a Superman or Superwoman there. They would give a long list of, you should know this as well. Just to stretch that, we can grab that candidate that has the most skills. If they don't find the most skills, then they go for the second best, third best, fourth best, whichever, according to their time range. So cloud administration, I just mentioned that. Junior, okay, cloud analyst, yeah, cloud analyst. I've seen those names as well. But main thing is that it's administration more than architecting, although some portion of architecture or architect is also available. Technical, yes, very technical. So you can say some jobs say cloud system administrator. They just keep changing the name as well, but mainly you would go for these cloud analyst, architect, technical analyst, cloud tech. I've seen so many combinations of that, right? So my suggestion would be to gain multiple skills, multiple vendors' skills, and because any of the vendors could be there in the market. In fact, I'm going for that. First, I wanted to show that what are the topping certifications there. That is from 2020 actually. Topping certifications are 2020, which is pretty much not changed in 2021. Google Cloud, Google Certified Cloud Architect. This was nowhere to be seen in 2019, 2018, but Google Cloud jumped real fast because of its containerization offering and the developer-friendly environment. And it's all Linux-based, so majority is Linux-based. So that also, and it's cheaper than the other two. So lots of factors there that it's way on the top now. AWS Solutions Architect Associate, this never gets old. AWS always makes it to the top 5. I'm still saying that the ground reality is that we find more Azure-related adaptation in North America. And I've seen that so many I keep in touch with the job announcements, right? So in fact, on day one, normally I go for that. Suppose we go to Indeed.com, right? And if you go for, your area, if you type there Azure and type Toronto or GTA, then you would see a long list of jobs that Senior Infrastructure Administrator, Azure Office. Okay, there you go. That's our course. Azure Office 365. Anyway, MUFG investor. So Cloud Technical Specialist. Okay, there is another 65 to 80,000. And remote, but it's temporary. Cloud engineer, it also, so these are those jobs which have Azure mentioned, but obviously they would go for a lot of other skills, but Azure and Office 365 would be mentioned in most cases. So IT system architect, again, has Azure. IT help desk, even help desk are required now, or they expect them to have jobs there. Yeah, they always seem to be asking a lot of experience there. Yeah, you're right. And Sal has also shared web app. Thank you, Sal. And also job posting, exactly. So senior Microsoft Cloud consultant, right? So if I click that, so on the right side, the details would be there. Office 365 and Azure Services, again, combination. I've seen that combination so many times. Oh, there you go, Intune, right? So pretty much this is our course. So we are aiming for senior Microsoft Cloud consultant. So anyway, the thing is that Office 365 and Azure pretty much go hand in hand, but I decided to add Intune. Now, this is obviously, I didn't see that job before, but I realized that Intune is really coming fast as a demand in this. These skills are going to be really required because everyone's connecting from home, and maybe they would prefer to connect from home because of all the experience that, hey, companies are still working and productivity is even better from home. So some try to prove that. So you would see Office 365 and Azure. This is the second job where the combination is there. Azure Infrastructure Architect, Azure Architect Contract, and these are all Toronto-based jobs, Mississauga-based jobs, System Administrator, IT Consultant, and then IT System Administrator, Azure System Administrator. Serious. Looking at that, I was thinking, okay, I should start applying, man. No, I'm happy with the current company. But anyway, Azure Data Engineer, I did service desk, and it goes on. This is the first page only, right? So all I did was I just put there Azure and Toronto only. So you could see a lot of jobs here that are, and that's the first page only. And the combination is exactly what I'm putting in this course, right? So even big companies, when they're going, you are facing Office 365, Azure Services, and in most cases in Tune, you have to face that, right? So that's why now seeing this also, I am smiling that, okay, so what I really was thinking, what is current market, I'm correct. So it just proves me now, proves to me again. Okay, anyway, so this is what we are, aiming for. And you can see all the titles here. So I'll just put that search in WhatsApp so you can see what kind of jobs are there. You can just click that link and you will see the same page. Anyway, I'm going to go back here and talk about the top certifications. And you can see security is on the top 5. Project management is on top 5. Project management, I didn't realize that it was that important. But yes, as an IT, when you are good in IT and you do project management and security, vendor neutral security, not, well, you can go for Azure security course, AWS security, but vendor neutral is different, like CEH or CISSP. And then VCP, well, this is still 6. Now there's 7, and they're giving, what, see the numbers? This may be the US and Canada, and mostly US job data. So Canadian market is a bit more tough. So this table shows the cloud investment that the companies are making. So they were saying in different websites for future trends that by 2023, 80% of the companies would have gone to cloud. 80% of the world companies would have gone to cloud. Fully gone to cloud is another question, but 80% of the companies will have cloud presence. Hybrid, which means on-premises plus cloud or just cloud. But so cloud is so important. It's going to be cloudy this decade, right? So the sooner you do the most in-demand cloud courses, the better. The more you think, the more time you're wasting, right? Okay, then I also talk about, there are so many certifications, then what set of certs should I go for in order to apply for a system administration job ranging from 25 per hour up to 60 per hour? I thought this was a myth. Not like myth, but not many get that the good days are gone kind of thing. But I've seen some of my students got that 60 per hour as a full-time job. Contracts much more than that, right? But full-time, it's wow, it's good. Okay, then there are some certifications that I recommend according to what I see in the market. Azure 104, as soon as possible, you need to do the certification. AZ 104, it's the IaaS, Infrastructure Service certification. Microsoft 365 Exchange Teams certification. These two, at least Exchange is a must-have. Exchange or email management of the company is a must-have certification. If you don't go for Teams, then these two guys are the most important must-have certifications, right? So take it ASAP. Second thing is Azure Architect. So if you're a senior administrator, you're a junior administrator and you're going to the seniority, or you want to be counted there, considered there for that job, this AZ304 is an Azure Architect course, right? My suggestion, do it ASAP as well. For, corporate ladder, go up a little. So Architect course would really help you in that. AZ500 is a security course. How to secure. So you're understanding inside out of Azure. How does everything work? How to secure it is this certification, AZ500, right? So very important certification there. I've just finished that course, last week. There was 2-in-1, AZ104 and AZ500. So lots of detail there, lots of information there. It's all about how much dedicated you are. Did you repeat all the labs? Did you understand? Did you ask questions? Did you saw some more YouTube stuff on this, lectures and labs? So it depends on how much repetition you did and how in-depth you went for all these actually, that you should be comfortable on. So just seeing one class and not repeating at home would not be very beneficial. So the second most important certification that I'm saying, System Center Configuration Manager is pretty much in every company, in every bank, every government organization, insurance companies, hospitals, right? So System Center Configuration normally is there. So that handles all the on-premises devices. You want to upgrade, you want to migrate Windows 7 to Windows 10, Windows 10 to Windows 11 maybe. So it was an on-premises king of change management, right? Now that is changing fast into Intune. So SCCM or System Center Configuration Manager, which handles thousands of devices on premises, its cloud version is Intune or Endpoint Manager, right? So this is really important to understand as well. How does this work? And then one certification of VMware VCP 7. Right now 7 is going on. The sooner you take the certification, the better, right? And other than that, Citrix, still good. I used to teach Citrix way back, like 2-3 years ago. 7.15 version was there. Now maybe even later version is there, I guess. So other than that, ITIL, if you didn't do that, companies would make you do that. Oh, you got VMware 6.5 certification. Very good, very good. So VMware is a must-have. Oh, Citrix, sorry. Oh, 6.5. Yeah, it's deprecated, but the experience would really count in the resume. So that's very good that you have Citrix configuration of certification. Sorry. Okay. Other than that, what we are doing here. Okay, it's it's at home. So. So now what we are doing here is yeah, ITIL, change management. So do that certification because I was asked questions in the interview as well that how do you troubleshoot or manage with the ITIL perspective. So it was, ITIL certification is not that difficult, but it tells you how to do change management there, right? So the sooner you do it, the better. And then there is CCNA. Well, if you haven't done Cisco at all, at least minimum go for CCNA. And otherwise, if you're CCNP, CCIE, wow, that's amazing, right? And then there is how much Intune cost and how we give exam for Intune. Okay, exam strategy is the next topic that is coming. Okay, Red Hat certificate. So if you know Windows operating system or Linux operating system, anyone, if you know in depth is good. Knowing both is better. Red Hat has a certification for their, Linux, Red Hat, and you can install CentOS to practice freely on that, right? Then there is vendor neutral security, certified ethical hacker, CISSP. Then there is vendor specific security, Azure security, AWS security. So your resume should have at least one word of security mentioned there. So do at least one security certification because once you go to cloud, you really need to secure it, obviously. So your management, your boss's first question would be, how about security? What do you know about security? Can you tell me, underline this security feature, that security feature of where we're going right now or where we are right now? So you need to know security. As you need to know the inside out of the technologies, then how to secure it even becomes a bigger burden on you, right? So it's not like please plan it, you must do it. Azure security, you must do it, right? Security or any kind of security, right? Okay, multiple cloud certifications. It's always a good idea to be multi-vendor certified. So in terms of cloud, so Amazon Web Services, AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate. This one is tough already. I teach that course. I've gone Microsoft totally, but I need to really go back to teaching or adding AWS in my stunt courses of 4-in-1, 3-in-1, right? So this is a very, very important course to have in your, as a skill. This skill is important for you. So my suggestion is, other than Microsoft, you must make sure that you have done this certification, and obviously do all the labs on that, right? Google platform, at least have a good know-how of just create a 1-year free trial account and play with it, right? So if you've played with one of this IAS certification, Azure 104, you've gone through Azure Cloud, you've gone through Amazon Cloud, so you can just do it yourself, do the self-learning and see how cloud platform. So many companies now have Google Cloud as well, and as a second cloud. So companies may have Azure plus AWS plus Google, or a combination of Azure and Google, or Azure and AWS. So you must at least have Azure and AWS, or Azure and Google. So that would really impress others that, okay, you are really knowledgeable about cloud because you have multi-vendor certification. That's amazing, right? Okay, so now about the exam strategy. So guys, we can take a break as well. And then we can go for introduction, and then I'm going to tell you about after the break what lab we are starting next week, and you need to have VMware Workstation. So whatever you need to have in terms of operating system, and the first lab will be on the laptop. You need to install Windows Server, and the rest of the labs will be majority of them will be all cloud based only. So but after the break, let's just continue talking about that, right? So let's take a break, and I'm going to tell you when you're supposed to come back, and that's how we're going to go onwards. So break, and then class starts at 12:34:44. Okay, 12:44. It's always 20-minute break, guys. Next week class is starting from 9 a.m. because I need to give 5 hours because we need to finish the course as well one day. So anyway, we're going to discuss all that. So let's take a break and come back, and at 12:44 we start sharp.
Amir,
So video is resumed. Okay, now we need to get to the course distribution, or course material distribution, which is Microsoft Teams that I have here. So I'm logged into the Teams already, and that I needed to actually add students there, so you could really see the material. I'm going to be uploading today's video there, as well as the slide, and whatever diagrams, useful diagrams, I'm going to be copying there as well. So what we can do is that I am going to send invitation to the teams here, but this is normally I do at the end of the class. So I was thinking to do it once we have the emails for everyone. So I'm going to be asking for emails at the end of the class. At that time, by that time, some of you may have, those who are still deciding to continue, you would have decided at that time, right? So now let me just go ahead and the exam strategy plus what is the course topics. What are the course topics that we are talking about here? And then the administration side of the course, like adding you to the, and then the timing of the course, especially Saturdays. So I'm going to go ahead and try to skip all that to go to this about Azure 104, Azure Administration. So there are 4 certifications we are really, mentioning here, targeting here. So the first one is the Azure AZ104. Actually, I'll be going at the infrastructure service as the last course within the 4-in-1. I'll be going for Exchange after this, and then Teams, and then Intune, and finally we will start with Azure. So Uber as a service. Okay, so in WhatsApp, there's so much going on there and interesting posts that you're posting there. So that's good. And let me just go ahead with the topics. So first of all, there's a 203 here that is actually messaging topic. So I'm just going to copy these links here to. Oh yeah, they are all separate ones. So I'm going to put that desktop administration. So modern desktop. This is the name of the certification. I'll just put that link there in WhatsApp, as well as I'll put that link in the WebEx chat as well. I'll put all these links and then I'll go one by one with the topics that we are going to be covering. So you could do the certification by the end of this course. The other one is, oh, okay, sorry. This is actually not modern desktop. The MS 700 that I put the link here is actually related to Intune Teams. Sorry, MS 700 is Teams. So Teams certification. So I'll just correct that and put it in WhatsApp. Also, this 101 MD. This is modern desktop. So this covers Intune topics. So I'll be discussing that quick or brief introduction to all the course topics. So this is endpoint management / Intune. It's the same name. I mean, it's an MDM, mobile device management, right? So the link for that is in WhatsApp now. You can open those links on your side, right? And then comes the messaging 203. So messaging course or email, I'll just put that there as a reference, and then the link that's in WhatsApp now. You can open all these now on your side, and then the IaaS infrastructure as a service. So IaaS course AZ-104. So what are the topics for that? So I put that. So I put all those topics in WhatsApp, and then you can click those. So let's just go for how we're going to start the course. We're going to be going with 203 and then 700, and then we're going to go for 101, MD 101 related topics, and finally the infrastructure as a service, which is Azure. So yeah, this is how the order would be. So first is 203. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go to WhatsApp to copy that here as well, or I'll just open the link for now. Let me just grab it. Okay, so first is 203, and that is the certification page. It was updated on August 27, 2021. So some of the topics normally are updated or changed by Microsoft. Passing score is 700 for that. And if you go down here, so it says actually messaging, or we're going to talk about Exchange server, Microsoft 365 messaging. So on this page, you can go way down to the skills measured, right? And in the skills measured, you see this download exam outline. So these are the topics that I intend to go through in Exchange. It's on my website as well, Cloud Engineers Academy. So I shared that link already in the WhatsApp. So I'm going to copy this now for MS203, MS-203, the actual exam content in WhatsApp. You can just copy from there. Okay, Bilal says that Amir, please paste the link on WebEx as well, so it will be easy to browse on computer. You're right. Okay, let me do that too, and I'll just quickly copy that from WhatsApp to WebEx. So this is AZ-104, and the other one is messaging. And oh, MS was missed in the last one. So, second. Now it will. MS203. Oh, it will. And then endpoint management 101, and then endpoint management, and the top is 100. So I'll just go here. So, all right. So yeah. So these are the 4 courses, and I'm going to go for MS203 here, and this one I just shared now. So MS203 link in Chrome extension, so that's why it may not open for you, I guess. Here, it's just a PDF extension, so PDF download. All right, thank you. Now let's go ahead and yeah, so the picture Zakir has showed there. Thank you. If you have any issues, guys, let me know. So you should be able to click that. I'm first of all, I'm on this page where so I'm on this page, MS203, and it ends, this link ends with MS203 in the URL as well that I put in WebEx. So on this page, you can go way down. So exam price is $165 US. But guys, if you have any mainstream college email like yourname@humber.ca or yourname@georgebrown.ca or senecacollege.ca or any other, so you can get 50% discount, 50% discount if you go for that, right? So that 50% discount, if you show the mainstream college email on Microsoft website, you get it. Okay, so I'm going to go down here to the bottom and skills measured, and there it is, download exam skills outline. I'm just going to click that. It's going to open that PDF, and within that, I'm going to go down here, audience profile, skills measured. So topics that are there in order. We're not going to go this way. We're going to go with Exchange Server. So while we're talking about Exchange Server, let me just show you the environment because my Microsoft 365 is still open. I'm going to show you how to open all this. Don't worry about that. So if I go back to my Microsoft 365 Admin Center here, and I go down to Exchange, so this is the Exchange, right? This is brief. You don't have to follow that because I'm going to be showing you step by step everything, and you can follow that. It will be recorded as well, and anytime you can go for this. Booker says, can we get help on creating an account before the next class? Maybe a doc so we can try ourselves during next week before the class. Yeah, sure. Booker, normally how I teach is that I do the steps here and students follow me, and then it gets recorded as well. So whatever steps I'm doing and students are following in the class, if students are saying that, no, I want to understand first without doing anything, and then later I'm going to repeat the lab. So the video is also recorded for those students. So yes, I'll be taking you step by step, and I will be doing one click, and then I will be asking everyone, are you there? And they all say, yes, teacher. So definitely I'm going to do that. I'm going to make sure everyone gets it. And suppose you have some issues, so I can, rectify that right away and t-shoot that. But if you want the recording, I can give the recording of the previous class where how to create Microsoft 365 E5. Better do it with me, right? Because I'm going to explain all the aspects of that, what to select, what to not to select, right? So, but I'll make sure that every student is properly here. This is already an environment that I'm showing only briefly here, but I will be creating with you a totally new account, a free trial, 30 days, and I'll be showing everyone what to do, right? Okay, so at Booker, if you need assistance, you reach out to Sal. So Sal is very helpful here as well. And if anyone wants to do any help, so thank you, Sal, for that. It's always appreciated. And so guys, here I'm just giving you an idea. Oh, cool. Yeah, that would be good. Okay, so Okay, so here guys, now before the end of the class, I will be telling you what to do about the lab. And most probably we will create at least the account today, most probably. So I'll try to wrap up the introduction to course, but we still need to know what topics are there. Okay, so anyway, this is the Microsoft Exchange Admin Center, and it has a lot of sorts. So how I do is I open an application and go with the features as they show here. I go one by one. First, suppose it's mailbox. So I go to the mailbox and I click the mailbox, and then there are so many features here for the mailbox. And then groups. So there are some features here on the top. These distribution lists may enable dynamic distribute. Then I go for resources. There are some features on top here as well. Add resource. So I go this one by one, then extend that. So many features here, then extend that, and go one by one, right? So we're going to be covering all that in our course. So we're going to go that order, right? Not this order, but again, manage organizational settings and resources. So that includes GAL, global address list, offline address book, address book policies, email address policies. So, this is just all about global address list and the context inside, and is it offline available or online available? Normally, obviously, if we are in the cloud also, it's online available. But if you're distracted from Outlook on your machine, so how is it available? Do you want to download that? Do you want to make it available offline? Other than that, there is plan and manage client access. So we're going to talk about Outlook on the web. So OWA policies, or OWA, Outlook on the web, right? Outlook Web Access, actually, Outlook Web App and Web Access. So we're going to talk about that and some design aspects of Auto Discover and client access connectivity problems. So when you install Outlook locally in your laptop, so you can connect to the cloud and from there. And then there is manage recipient resources. So there's archive mailboxes. How many types of mailboxes are there? So what is a mailbox? It's just your when you open Outlook application, or you even go inside the Gmail, so that's your mailbox with all your emails are coming and going from. So how to manage those mailboxes? Suppose you have thousands of those in Exchange Online. And then groups, how do you create groups? What are dynamic distribution groups, mail-enabled security groups, and Microsoft 365 groups there, and manage user mailboxes. Each user mailbox has features, then mailbox permissions, including delegation, shared mailboxes, including converting to shared mailbox. So guys, we're going to be doing labs on majority of these topics. Whichever are doable, we're going to be doing that, or whichever are not very, very lengthy topics in terms of labs, we're going to do that because we need to cover actually topics of 4 courses, but I want to cover all the critical ones which you must know before you hit the job market or when you're going for a project, next project there. So other than that, we're going to talk about mailboxes and groups there, mail contacts there, and then we're going to do labs on that. Mail transport architecture. So how are the connectors there? What are the connectors for? Do you really want to use that? And then filtering of connectors. So what are connectors? Connectors normally just connect your on-premises or local branch Exchange server to the cloud Exchange Online, right? So do we need connectors? How many types of connectors are there? We're going to talk about that. Mail flow. So there are transport rules here. Hybrid mail flow, accepted and remote domains. What are those? Okay, about Exchange Online, guys. First thing, my course in Exchange Online includes only Exchange Online. So I will not be installing Exchange server on premises in this Exchange Online course, and it will be purely online, right? But I will be giving some. If you need videos of how to install Exchange on premises and how the databases work in on-premise Exchange, so I can share those videos for you from previous classes. But here, this is going to be totally online now. So online only, right? Version of Exchange. But with design and diagrams, I will explain. If it was hybrid, then what to do with that scale or what to do with this feature. I will explain all that with diagrams, but majority will be doing online labs there. So you could feel very comfortable about that later. Obviously, it will be recorded, so you cannot miss any step, right? When I'm doing that, at that time, you can concentrate and ask questions, as many as you have, and you can do the lab with me if you're fast enough. Otherwise, when the recording comes the next day, you can follow the recording and repeat the recording as many times as you want, so you don't miss anything, right? Transport rules, lots of rules there, interesting rules there. We're going to go for examples of those rules. We're going to do some labs on that. Accepted and remote domains. So what are those? What's the difference between that? With diagrams, so I'm going to explain that. Hybrid mail flow. So you have on-premises and cloud emails. On-premises means local branch. On-premises, local branch, right? Local Toronto branch maybe, right? So troubleshoot and mail flow. So suppose you want to trace a message. So how do you trace that? Where's the trace feature there? And what are the options there for you, right? Mainly we explore options. Suppose we start a wizard and then we explore all the options. Some wizards we cannot really complete because there's a other side of the lab needs to be completed. And some wizards we're going to do complete and do the whole lab and check the results as well. So, but mainly we do explore the features and what is this feature for? What is that feature for? Why don't we use this feature? Why not that feature? And why that feature? So, but we're going to try to explore all that. Message trace, analyze message headers, non-NDRs, non-deliverable reports there, and there's a Microsoft website for, troubleshooting as well. Hey, if your environment is even connected to the cloud or to the internet or not. So there's a remote connectivity analyzer. Then there is Microsoft support and recovery assistant, logs and queues in hybrid. Normally one course has enough that even only just one course we should be doing. Normally that's the way everyone does it. I don't know. I just keep doing those stunts that more value is given. But obviously, when you go in depth with one course, you learn more about that particular course topics. Anyway, I'll try to cover all those critical ones so you would be able to even give the exam. It should be covered to that extent. And then plan a hybrid deployment by using hybrid configuration wizard. So we will run that wizard, but it's still just going to be on the diagrams. I'm going to explain that how on-premises environment should be before you even start that wizard. And then hybrid environment, organization configuration transfer, OCT. What is that environment by using hybrid configuration wizard? So what are the features in that? What do you need to have to do that? So other than that, there is evaluate migration methods, including cutover, minimal hybrid, PS import, PST imports, tenant, staged. And then there's migration endpoints, mailbox migration batches, mailbox migration, and then public folder migration. Then there is RBAC roles. So this is a role-based access control and what kind of dedicated permissions you can give to desktop support and what kind of permissions you want to give to the administrators. And then there is message hygiene. So that's a big portion of Exchange Online. That anti-spam features. What are the anti-spam features Microsoft offers? Anti-malware features, quarantined section, spam confidence level, SCL, safe attachments, safe links, anti-phishing features, right? And DNS records for domains. So lots of knowledge that is there that, interview, they do ask how much knowledgeable you are, how much you can comfortably answer in terms of the features of Exchange for compliance, for security, for connectivity, mail flow. And then comes one of the most important as well, compliance features, and that is labels and retention policies. You want to retain emails for longer time. How do you retain those with retention policies? DLP is that if you have some sensitive data that you think that employees can export outside of the organization or email outside or share outside. So DLP can prevent that sensitive data to be leaked outside of the company. So other than that, sensitivity labels and policies, analyze audit logs, journal rules. Journaling is that your emails are copied whoever is sending and receiving emails, you can just silently copy that email to another source as well, because every email of the employee is company's property, right? So company has the right on that. So they can copy your emails silently, quietly. If there's an investigation there, then they can actually reach to what you said 5 years ago to that client. Content search, and then e-discovery. So e-discovery is very important. And that is you can discover any kind of phrase there across all the mailboxes, not even mailboxes, but across all OneDrive, all Teams. It's pretty comprehensive when you do e-discovery across Microsoft 365. SharePoint, you want to search something in mailboxes, Teams, SharePoint, OneDrive, documents. So it does that. Very powerful. So, well, now what is this? The red line. The exam guide below shows changes that were implemented. So what I read above was before the changes, and whatever changes are there, normally there are slight changes. There include HABs there. So I'm going to be following what has changed here, but I just went through the topics. Normally major topics are not removed, oh, DKIM is removed. So that's not exam objective, but I will still let you know that what is this domain key identified mail, and they have mobile devices was removed, which I don't see here. Other than that, nothing much. Configure connectors. Okay, so connectors between tenants is no longer needed. So troubleshoot mail flow, validate inbound mail flow by using the classic or new, trace a message. Okay, some part of the tracing is removed. Some part of the hybrid deployment is removed as well. And then implement migration. Some part of migration is removed. We need to understand cutover cross tenant, which was still there up there. Public folders is totally removed, although that feature is there. So I'll show you still how it works online. And messaging environments, RBAC role, so how to delegate permissions to others. Message hygiene, that is also just the domain keys is removed. And then retention is still there. They just changed the wording. So not big difference, but well, this paper is there, so we're gonna check that out when we are going through the features. Let's go for the other one, and that is Teams. So I'm gonna click the Teams here. Now Teams, guys, is not a lot of labs there. It's still important to understand in perspective of how, if it's in the organization, what it connects to, what it can connect to, and what kind of features it shows. So I'm just going to go to the download exam skills of Teams as well. And it's going to open the PDF. I'll go, so it was also updated on September 24. Okay, so it says you can get a coupon. It should still be $15 US dollars. Okay, that's good. Coupon for Cineplex or
yeah, Cineplex. Yeah.
Wonderland.
No. If you go back, there's a ticket. Looks like a Ticketmaster ticket. Go back.
Oh, up.
Yeah, I just want to show everybody because I think it'll probably be important for people who want to take the exam. So if you go back to the page so you're on the PDF right now, right? If you go to the web-based version of it.
Oh.
You're on the PDF, right? Yeah. This will help us. Scroll up right there. Schedule for $15 right there.
You're kidding me, man.
Yeah. I'm taking advantage of it. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Thank you, Sal.
You're welcome. Yeah, no problem. And then you don't have to be a student though, but it's $15.
Okay, I think it's one exam you can give by that, but can you give all 4?
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, Azure too. Yeah, same thing. I'm booking.
Yeah.
You're our
hero. That's it. You're our hero.
Yeah. Go to I agree.
Oh, I don't want to agree. Okay.
And it'll tell you to print the ticket.
Nice, man.
You have your MCID number and log in with your MCID, right? You have your MCID. You have your MCID, and then it'll give it to you.
Oh, nice. So guys, you can just fill it up and then you can. Okay.
Okay.
Wow, thank you, sir.
No problem.
Thank you much. So that would be a very good thing if, hey, I think you should hurry up because COVID is actually
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
going away.
Get it booked.
Schedule for $15. I heard about it that you can give one with your MCP
Is that what it
ID,
is?
but not multiple with $15. But yeah, you can try. So that's a very good resource here. Thank you.
So I can use it with my MCID number. I can use it once. I can't use it on
Once
multiple.
only. I heard that, but I never used it. So yeah, needs to be still confirmed.
This $15, I think, I don't know, anybody can use it, but they say only if you are affected by this COVID-19, you lost a job or you don't have a job, or you are sitting around doing nothing, maybe that way. But this
will still work.
Oh yeah, so we have to give some kind of proof there as well, I guess.
Is that what it says?
Well, yeah, we need to read the whole rules, a lot of rules if you were affected by COVID-19.
They'll probably want your T4 slip that tells you that that you were unemployed.
Well, yeah, and that.
Yeah.
So
is that what they want? I guess I have to look into it more later on. But if I have any more info, I'll let you guys know.
Cool. That's very good.
I'll probably ask my team at work. All right.
Sure. All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, so here, download exam, and I'm going to go for, yeah, we were talking about Teams now, and I'm going to go straight to where they made the changes section. So that's the exam guide below includes the changes that were implemented on September 24, 2021. Okay, so plan and configure Microsoft Teams environment, and that says calculate network bandwidth capacity for Microsoft Teams voice, video, meetings, and live events. So Teams is for meetings and conferences, but it's a lot, complicated when it comes to the administration side. Analyze network usage. Then, well, normally there are monitoring tools there that how the meeting is going on. Suppose you have globally people are connecting to your Teams, and obviously you need to know the quality of service, QoS, port range, and markings there. So we're going to check out all these terminologies and how to monitor that. Licensing requirements for Teams. Also, we'll check it out. Appropriate licensing for what kind of features you want there. Then there is security and compliance. So alerts for Teams, appropriate administration roles, threat policies, and retention policies. You want to retain some chat. You want to retain the videos that you have made. You've recorded the whole session. You want to maintain that and configure sensitivity labels for any kind of sensitive files that you have shared in Teams with others. DLP for Teams as well. So data loss prevention. If anyone is sharing sensitive data or it's about to be leaked or go outside of the organization, especially when there are guests invited in the Teams and they're seeing that. So normally DLP prevents that sensitive. When we say sensitive data, so there's financial data, bank account information of Canada, credit card information of Canada, bank account, credit card information of US, insurance related documents format that you can implement. If you find this kind of format, the numbers and alphanumeric characters block that from being shared outside of organization. So we're going to implement the data loss prevention there and check it out how it works. So for conditional access and MFA, you want to put some conditional access there. This is a longer topic. We're going to go through in detail what is conditional access, how many conditions you can put for the access of the employee to the resources. MFA, multi-factor authentication, we're going to try that too. We're going to implement that. And information barrier policies. We're going to check all the policies there. Lifecycle management for Teams, governance and lifecycle. So normally governance is a big topic in Microsoft 365. How do you govern permissions? How do you govern ID management, identity management, and then all the access to resources. So manage policy packages for Teams, groups creation for Teams, and Microsoft. So guys, when you create in Microsoft 365 Microsoft 365 group, then what happens is it creates a team portion of that group, and it creates a SharePoint site of it as well. That's the same for if you create a new team, then security group gets created and a SharePoint site gets created as well. So we're going to check it out all when we do the lab. And archive, you want to archive any data, Azure AD access for members and guests, and with PowerShell if you want to add bulk user. How about SharePoint? How does it connect to OneDrive and SharePoint? Is Teams interconnected in the background with other applications like SharePoint and OneDrive? External file sharing, very important topic here. Now, Microsoft says that we have provided all the security tools to you, but we haven't implemented or configured them to the best vendor practice level. So the tools are there. Are you knowledgeable about how to enable them, how to configure them? So it's not like when you go to Office 365 with your company data and you see that, oh yeah, Microsoft has already put a lot of automated protection there, so we are safe already. No, we're not. So when you put your data, there are so many security tools. It's a shared responsibility. You cannot just say cloud is responsible only for my data. I don't have to do anything other than upload the data. So it's a shared responsibility. There are lots of security tools which are not configured as well. And then you have to be knowledgeable about what to configure. So file sharing settings, how your employees can share files outside of your organization is a very sensitive topic. And this needs to, so we're going to go through all the options that are available there and what needs to be enabled, what should be enabled, what should not be enabled, but it's not configured on best practice level. So we can't really say we are already protected. You have to go to the nick and corners of Microsoft 365 applications and check which option is enabled, which option is not enabled, right? So we're going to go through long, extensive, boring feature check, right? But that boring feature check can get you a job and can get you actually a good job. So the thing is that we have to go through all the options, right? Okay, manage external access federated domains. If you have federated domains, you have, suppose you're connected with Google Cloud. Suppose you're connected with G Suite, which is just like Microsoft 365 is from Microsoft. There's G Suite that is from Google, and that also has Word access. They have different names for that. So are you connected? Is your Microsoft 365 connected with Google Cloud and Google G Suite or collaboration tools? So in that case, how do you give access to the employee, to the users there? Microsoft Teams from the Microsoft Team Admin Center. How do you add guest users? So guest access, you know what? I'm going to be sending you guest invites to the class Microsoft Teams, right? So you will see the procedure how a guest gets invited and then gets added there, right? So this is then administration side. When the Teams course start, then we're going to go with the administration side of it. That what kind of restrictions you want to put to when the guest is invited. Guest could be Gmail user, guest could be Outlook user, Hotmail user, right? You're inviting somebody from outside of your organization, so you have to be very careful what resources the guests can access, right? Allow or prevent owners from adding guests. Okay, so whoever's adding guests, who can invite, actually, you can just decide that too. And then configure guest access. So it's all about guest access. I was not expecting them to add VDI there, but configure Microsoft Teams for virtual desktop environment and manage configuration profiles for Teams devices, Teams device tags, settings. So it's all about profile of Teams when you're creating Teams. Normally, if I am talking about Teams, so seriously, yeah, there's Teams, right? So when I double click that, so I'll be asking you to download the Teams app, which is a separate client app. You can just install, and then obviously when you have created your Microsoft 365 accounts, then you're going to be putting that account here, and you're going to be connected to Teams from cloud. So normally that Teams has a lot of profiles, a lot of configurations inside that we will be doing when we're doing the labs step by step, right? So can create and manage teams. So how to create a team, how to manage it, what are the features inside, what are the channels, right? and how many applications it is connected to. So all that we're gonna discover. So types of channels there. What are channels? Channels are just different, a separate area for separate topics you can start. But you're gonna know when we are doing the labs. Obviously, we're gonna do the labs, and you're gonna be very clear on that. Okay, chat and collaboration experience. There are chat bots there as well. How to add bots there, which are automated in their tasks. And then there is org-wide app teams settings. So what is the org-wide team settings? So there are a lot of configurations in the teams. When it comes to labs, it's not a lot of labs there. So it's background configuration that we need to really understand, and all the features and when to enable which feature and why. So manage calling and meetings. So then how many meetings are there? Meeting settings. So in the meeting going on, what features you want enabled, what features you want disabled. Phone numbers. So do you get local Toronto phone number when you are having some kind of team subscription? And are you connected to the telecom? Yes, Microsoft connects you with one local Toronto number if you're in Toronto, or whichever city you're in. Microsoft gives you with your subscription one phone number, 1-800 number there, so anyone can call into that local number to connect to your meeting. So we're going to check out that how it is configured, and can we make changes? Can we just apply for more numbers? How much is that? And then phone system for Microsoft Teams. So Microsoft has connectivity features there for phone systems. This is more about design, that how Teams connect to your voice over IP, right? So every company has voice over IP phones there, VoIP phones there. So how would you want to connect the team to that? So what are the ways to do? What is direct routing there? And so in design, we're going to talk about that design, and I'm going to show you some diagrams, and we'll try to understand that. Troubleshoot Teams. So all the monitor and report. So where are the monitoring and reports for that, if there are any issues there? And then audio, video, and client issues for audio and video conferences and meetings. So this is all about Teams that we're going to go through, and we're going to try to achieve as much exam objectives with labs as possible. Others we will discuss. Other than that, we're going to go for MD 101. Maybe you want to have this certification or not if your company requires, but Intune, right? Endpoint management, managing thousands of devices of your company from the cloud, which is a very powerful thing. And do you want to do that certification or just learn the skills? As long as you learn the skills, that's good enough. Doing a certification, then Intune or endpoint management features are covered in MD 101 or modern desktops. So it says desktops, but it's actually server side. It's all administration of Intune. So it's managing desktops, but it's not a desktop role itself. It's a pretty much level 3 administrator role, right? Okay, so Zakir says in that question in the WebEx chat, are the corporates using VoIP phones with extensions? Are we learning this too? Oh, no. VoIP related, that's a separate course in Cisco, right? If you're going for Cisco VoIP services. So in this course, I can tell you with diagrams that Teams can connect to VoIP because you need to have a controller, you need to have an application with expensive license there. So you can connect to that application with Teams. So you must have a working VoIP configurations already in your on-premises that Teams can connect to. So yeah, we don't have that, and I can just tell it in. And VoIP is a separate course, how to configure VoIP and connect to it. But connecting, well, I haven't done that in Teams, and normally you have to have an expensive license for that application. I'm forgetting that name. I think it's UCS or some other Cisco Central VoIP software or server that connects all your phones and connect it to the telecom. Right?
I think, Amir, Teams also have the capability of handling the complete PBX solution. There are two things, two ways to like either go through direct routing or do fully manage the PBX solution on Teams.
Yeah, but the direct routing and both involved you having the router configured with either ISP or it is in your on-premises data center. So that's what we're gonna talk about. But normally, can the teams connect directly to a VoIP phone? No, it has to be, VoIP phone has to be connected to a central controller, and then teams can connect to that central controller. So that's what I was saying.
I think there most of now the devices are coming up with the Teams enabled, so we just have to log in with the Microsoft account.
Yes, those devices are Microsoft recommended devices, and you're right, exactly. If they are Teams enabled, yes, then you can directly connect. And those devices are, if you buy those team enabled devices, then if it is Cisco devices, Cisco VoIP I was talking about, so then you have to connect to that central controller. So yes, you're right. Microsoft has a long list. In fact, I'm going to be showing you which exact devices Microsoft is selling, which are team enabled devices. And if you purchase that, yes, you can directly connect to that. You're right.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So here, and thank you. Okay, here I'm going to go directly to where the changes are because, oh yeah, that's a red line section. After that, September 24th, they made some changes to. Now, Intune has actually two major areas. One is device management, MDM, and the other one is MAM, application management. So it becomes so powerful, and it's sitting in the cloud, and it's managing not only your thousands of devices like desktops, laptops, cell phones, tablets. It's also having the power to deploy applications to, there's a small application called company app portal. So that's a small software that you need to install. And after that, you can actually make a package. Suppose you're deploying Chrome to all the devices. So you can actually, that's an application, or you want to deploy actually WinZip. So you can deploy it by making a package in Intune endpoint manager, and then deploy it to your, and then when you have deployed the application, then you can have app protection policies there as well, and what portion of the application you can actually use, what portion not. So it's pretty powerful. I really wanted to have an Intune separate course introduced, just one course, but then I thought that, okay, why wait, just add it in this 4-in-1. So yeah, it's a lot of effort on my side, but students do get a lot of value, hopefully. Okay, so a lot of value when I say, so normally the effort of students is always 80%. Students have to repeat, and they have to really understand and repeat all the labs, right? Then you get comfortable with that. Just seeing once is, you're gonna forget that before you even know it. So when you do the lab again at home, it really, gets into your mind. When you do it twice at home, then you get comfortable in talking about that, right? Okay, anyway, so Windows 10 deployment. Are you kidding me? Okay, so yeah, this is, if you've heard some of the technologies before, Configuration Manager, MDT, that it's a free software that comes with configuration, SCCM, System Center Configuration Manager. SCCM is used for on-premises, like your Toronto local branch. If you have thousands of devices or hundreds of devices, it controls that, upgrades, updates about that, anything to change, any changes to manage remotely for thousands of machines. So SCCM does that. So Intune or Endpoint Manager is the cloud version of SCCM. Okay, so then Windows 10. So what it says here is deploy and upgrade operating systems. I mean, pretty challenging here already. And okay, so plan upgrade and downgrade paths, plan app compatibility, plan for user state. I did teach SCCM way back. That was I think I even forgot what was the version, but many students till last few years were asking, my bosses all of a sudden asking me to handle SCCM, and I have no experience, so I used to share the videos that I did the labs of, and then students would say, okay, now I get an idea what to do. Anyway, so SCCM pretty much was very complicated, and this Intune is no less, but obviously we will try to do as many labs as possible, at least to the introduction to medium level, because of intensity of this course that we already have 4 courses to cover, right? 4 skills. But this much that if you're told, hey, can you configure Intune for our company? So you should be able to configure the Intune plus at least take it to that level where day-to-day tasks can be done with Teams, with Intune, right? So plan and implement Windows 10 using Windows Autopilot. Autopilot, it means that your devices can automatically enroll to Intune when you log in from, suppose your Windows 10 laptop, you log in with your Azure user account. Suppose your Azure user account is john@yourcompanyname.ca, and that is the account in Microsoft Azure Active Directory. So you log in from that account, and it should simply, okay, I didn't do annotation, so let's quickly go there. Yeah, so you have Windows 10 laptop and Win 10 and laptop. So you are logging in from that laptop with the username as John at John at your company name company .ca. So once you log in from that, now this account, if it is in Azure Active Directory, so as soon as you log in with the correct password, it should register your device. Suppose it's your laptop. So it registers your laptop into Azure. Then it should automatically register that to Intune. Intune will check for compliance policies. Oh, do you have firewall enabled? Do you have antivirus installed? Do you have this security configuration, that security configuration? So it will check, and then it will say that either you're compliant or not. Suppose you're non-compliant, or suppose you are compliant with all the policies that Intune has to offer. Then the next one is configuration profile. That kicks in, and the configuration profile actually seriously, okay, configuration, oh man, what have I done? I'm writing with mouse. So anyway, configuration profile, what that does is it installs, I think there are hundreds, maybe 200-300 policies that you can enable or disable here. That configuration profile just means that configure this laptop with this, that setting. Firewall related settings, any portion of your operating system related, whatever you want to change the wallpaper in the background, change this, and documents folder, create 20 more folders there, whatever you want, the whatever profile you want to give to the laptop. So it simply puts that configuration there, and then your device is ready to be used. So Autopilot automatically, once you just have to log in from Azure user account, and then it automatically should register your device to Azure, then to Intune, and Intune just does these 2 things. But that's pretty extensive set of policies that we need to then go through and check and then see. Other than that, Intune also updates, Windows updates that you need to do, and it checks for security. Are these devices secure? Intune checks a lot of safe things. Intune is connected with a lot of security and compliance other applications that Microsoft has. So it's pretty extensive device management solution that you get, which takes care of best vendor configuration of your Windows 10, as well as best security and compliance configuration of your laptop and other devices as well. So the whole project here would be this. Mariam says in the chat, can we deploy, install applications such as antivirus agent, Adobe on endpoint devices using Pulse? Yes, exactly. So what I was talking here is MDM, right? So mobile device management, while what you're talking about is MAM. So that is mobile access management, right? So that's MAM. So not only that, the devices are fully managed there, also the applications, right? So that's the application part that we're talking about. Application, right? So yes, Intune has these two major categories. Not only that, it handles devices, it handles applications. So you can deploy, you can secure, you can remove, you can delete, you can change applications. Yes, it does it all. But obviously, SCCM, the on-premises local branch version, has much more features. Intune is getting there, but what it does now is pretty intense and powerful already. That's what I can say, right? And adding it to Microsoft 365 group of applications, this is a very good addition there. Okay, I'll take that screenshot and put it in Teams. So when you arrive, I'll be inviting you to Teams, the class Teams, sorry, and that will have a notebook. Why didn't I add that? I guess I think I did. Oh, that's another class. This one, 23, right? So if I go there, I'll be showing you everything, but I'm just collecting the screenshots that I took there in OneNote that you will all have access to. So this is the OneNote, the Week1. I'll just put this. I'll be giving you access soon, so don't worry about that. But I'm just putting this diagram here. So when you're coming here, you will see this. Okay, so yeah, so there are questions there in the chat. Vibu says, for Windows Autopilot, is there any specific latest hardware gears or any laptops can be configured? Yeah, well, pretty much all the mainstream ones, and so Lenovo, Dell, IBM, HP, all those laptops are compatible. I don't see any, well, much older laptops, they may have some issue, but I don't see any laptops, mainstream laptops that had issue being configured with Autopilot. So there's no specific recommendation. All mainstream hardware are okay. They can get registered with Intune. Mainstream. Okay, what's the name of this class? Hassan says, what's the name of this class in Teams? So Hassan, I would be inviting you. You already have, I guess, invited because of the previous course. So, oh, where am I? Yeah. So here, its name is Microsoft 365 4-in-1 course, October 23. So the main thing is October 23 that you need to see here. And there's another group starting. They just wanted separate evening classes. And I'm like, seriously, I wanted to add that group here. But they said, no, we are just a bunch of friends there. We want to have this separated class. I'm like, okay, seriously. Okay, anyway, so this is, yeah, I'm gonna go back here. Could you please share the class Teams, Mariam says? Oh yes, Mariam, so after introduction to this, the next step is that I'm going to, 144, seriously? Okay, so by 2 o'clock I need to finish. There's another class, which is VMware 7.0. I'm teaching after this. Well, today, actually, yeah. So after this, at 3 o'clock it starts, and at 7, I'm connected with the college and teaching that 7.0. Okay, so here, we were talking about Autopilot. Then there's, I just explained with diagram what is Autopilot, and then using MDT. So this is just for extras, you could say scripts that you can add there to Teams. But without that, also with it's pretty powerful. So, but if you want to go for more customization, then MDT is there. VPN connection certificates on Windows 10. So you want to configure VPN with Teams? Really? Well, if you have like thousands of users who are connecting from VPN, yes, why not? You can create a VPN profile there, manage certificates on client devices. So if you are planning to do that, then put the security certificates there for encryption of files then you can also implement that. Policies and profiles. So that's policies is a very big word here. That's a long list of policies, and which policies you need to implement at what time. That's what we will be discussing, and we're going to go through the policies as well. We're going to try to implement some of those one by one as well, like some of those. So device profiles, first compliance policies. So I mentioned to you that when a device is automatically enrolled in Azure Active Directory, after that, it is enrolled in Intune. After enrolling in Intune, the compliance policies kick in first. So we're going to check that what policies we can implement there. And then configuration profile policies get implemented later. So we're going to check that too, right? That's a long list of policies, but you need to understand actually, that's the main thing. Manage your user profiles. So whatever profiles, there are multiple types of profiles you can create there. So we're going to talk about all those profiles. Manage and protect devices through Intune. Yeah. So application guard, credential guard, exploit protection, Microsoft Defender Advanced for endpoint for Windows 10, Defender application control. There are many ways that you can protect the devices and applications. Microsoft has a long list of tools and application, security tools and applications there, right? So we're going to talk about that. Devices, managed devices enrolled in Microsoft Intune already, non-Windows devices, Windows devices, device inventory, bulk enrollment. Whew, serious. Okay. Monitor devices using, so monitoring, updates, how do you update the devices, apps and data. So all that, pretty intense. So anyway, that's why I call it a stunt, because that's not normal to have 4-in-1 courses, right? So you have to be crazy to be offering that. So if we are crazy, then we go in depth, right? Anyway, so app protection policies, that's another separate security tool that gets connected to Intune. So you will find that in Microsoft 365, Microsoft has some big and small applications that are all interconnected, right? So that's very interesting. The more knowledgeable you are, and then you repeat the labs, the more the golden word is repetition, right? The more you repeat, the better you get, the more confident you get, right, on the devices. So well, that said, okay, Repo depends on your devices. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the fourth one and then quickly get you into the teams. So, and then quickly tell you the next week lab, what you need to prepare before next week. Okay, so Azure course is the fourth one, and that is the IaaS part of our 4-in-1 course, right? Infrastructure as a service part of it, right? Okay, if I go back here, download exam skills. So there is, it was updated on September 24, 2021. I'll go straight down here. Mainly, okay, from that red line it starts. And Azure identities and governance, we're going to talk about that. Create users and groups, manage users and groups, bulk users, you also do that. So how to manage users and groups in Azure Active Directory, then RBAC, role-based, access control, create custom role. So what are the delegations? What kind of permissions you want to give to which user? And then policy and governance, a long topic. So we're going to talk about all this. How do you govern the ID management? Who gets administration rights for how long on which resource? So that's a long list of configurations there that you need to understand, right? Implement and manage storage, secure storage. So this is enterprise grade storage. It is not like you know, simple Google storage or well, so you will see the enterprise grade security and scalability policies there when you go to the storage that is offered for big companies. Other than that, so yeah, Storage Explorer, AZ Copy, Azure Job, what's that? Storage replication. We're going to replicate between two continents. We're going to create one storage in Europe and one storage in North America. And I'll show you how to configure replication there. Okay, other than that, Azure Files and Azure Blob Storage. So there's Azure File Share, Azure File Sync service. What is blob? Binary large object, and it could be virtual disk as well from Hyper-V that you can upload there. So we're going to talk about that in lifecycle management. Azure Compute. So how to create virtual machines. It's not about how to create virtual machines that is important, because everyone knows that. It's about what are the features that Microsoft offers when you're creating a virtual machine, and what features cost what, because you're using the underlying hardware. So you'll be charged for what you do, right? So you have to be very careful in Azure. Configure containers. So that's a full section here for containers and Kubernetes. So we're going to talk about that, the difference between, and we're going to create one container, and we're going to try to check the Kubernetes and diagrams and try to configure that as well. But it's kind of large scale. When you have thousands of containers, then you go for Kubernetes. Azure App Service. So this is App Service that you can deploy and take a backup of. This app service is that you can deploy just the app, and you don't have to worry about the underlying virtual machine and the hardware. You just deploy the app service itself. Configure and manage virtual networking. So we'll create virtual networks. We're going to create private LANs in public cloud. We're going to create subnets there. We're going to create endpoints there. And then we're going to create peering between the virtual networks. So very interesting area here, and securing virtual networks. And then there's the load balancing lab there. We're going to do load balancing between two virtual machines, monitor and troubleshoot virtual networking. So again, we're going to spend some time on networking. Then there is VPN gateway, express route, and virtual WAN. We're going to talk about that. Hopefully we can do the lab for VPN gateway. Others are not possible because of the expenses related to that. So other than that, Azure monitoring and backup and recovery. So recovery services vault, most important area there, where you can do replication and backup. Okay, so these are the excuse me, 4 courses, the topics that we're going to go through. Majority of the critical, my aim is to go for all the critical topics there. Some of the labs will be doable, some of the labs will not be doable. They're pretty lengthy, so design side of it and diagrams, I'm going to explain that. But majority, I believe that the more hands-on we are, the better. So we understand better when we are doing it practically, right? So that's why I try to add as many labs as possible. Okay, other than that, now we can talk about getting added to Azure. So now what's the plan here? So guys, the plan is that I'm going to be adding you. So I would need your emails so I could send you invitation to this Teams class Teams, and in the Teams you will be seeing this book icon here, and in this book icon there's week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. You will see there all once you are invited to Teams, and you're able to see that Teams there, right? So I would be needing your email. You can put it on separately on WhatsApp to me, or you can choose private in WebEx and just give me that email. Oh, when I'm sending the invitation, still it will be okay. So this means that I need to send an email. Guys, it will show here. Okay, so I'm gonna stop recording. At least it will not be recorded, right? So I'm gonna pause that. Now I'm gonna send invitation. Whoever wants to continue can accept the invitation and join the team here, right? And I'm gonna pause resume. So guys, I've sent the invitation, and those who are watching the video now and haven't seen the invitation yet can ask me to send the invitation. I'll send you the invitation, right? So, but once you get the invitation, what will happen is that you will see this Microsoft 365 4-in-1 course, and then you can go to this top right area here, which is the OneNote, And then once you have here and you clicked it, then you should see this book icon, right? So Microsoft has made sure that it should be as difficult for you to reach the OneNote as possible. So there's small book icon here. Once you get that, so you should be seeing week 1, and now I'm creating your downloads. So next week lab also and downloads folder is there. So week 1, I'm just going down here for the instructions for the next week and what should be ready for you, right? So we're gonna do practical. Obviously, every lab, every class will be lots of practicals and labs. So this will be how to sync on-prem users to Azure. Okay. Users to Azure Active Directory. So I'm going to explain the whole lab now. Don't worry, everything will be explained. And oh, okay. And you get the class documentation. Okay, I'll just add that. Don't see, so I'll stop the recording again. So guys, next week, first lab would be how to sync on-prem users to Active Directory, Azure Active Directory in cloud. So in cloud. And second thing is that how to add a tenant to Azure AD. How to add a domain to a tenant. How to add www.godaddy.com domain as a tenant in Azure AD, right? So these two are the major labs that you need to do. So for this particular lab, what you need to do is, oh, okay. So there is another set of information here. Got the invitation. Hey, Hassan, did I add you already?
Amir, you don't have a code, do you? You can add? You can join a team with a code.
Yeah, I
Do you
guess.
remember when you join or create a team?
So it did not create any code.
No, if you give me the code, maybe I'll try.
No, so let me check that. Check.
Yeah, yeah, team code.
And generate. Okay. That's good.
Yeah, let me try that. If that doesn't work, then I'll get you something else. I'll just keep it there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just put it there as well in.
Yeah, I'll try that.
In chat.
No, it's saying we can't.
Then restart the machine or something.
Maybe I'll restart the Teams.
Okay, so I got Malik Amjad. I'll just put that quickly. I think there are more coming now. So for next week, general channel there, and Microsoft 365, and it's the OneNote there, and I'll just go down here.
You remember the 2 paints that you had at the beginning?
Sorry?
The paint.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll be copying all the paint. Sure. Okay, so here, I'll just finish quickly here. What is needed for next week, guys? So please install free copy of VMware Workstation 16, I think, and Pro, not Player, Pro. Okay, Pro, not Player, right? Pro version. You can get it free from www.vmware.com. You need to create a free account in vmware.com for this. Okay, so you need to have a VMware Workstation. If you want to go for Oracle VirtualBox, if you're good with that, then yes, it has some issues. You can also use free Oracle VirtualBox, but you should be, tech savvy, or you should be having some good troubleshooting skills. Okay, so I got this other one. So I'm gonna copy that, but first I'm gonna stop recording here. Resume that. So guys, so for next week, we're going to be installing a virtual machine in our laptop in VMware Workstation or VirtualBox, Oracle VirtualBox, whichever you have. Better VMware Workstation. And second thing is download the Windows Server. You know, it could be anyone. Windows Server 2016, 2019, even 2022. I'm so excited to download 2022, but okay, I don't want any surprises in the class. So download the Windows Server 2019 free trial from Microsoft Downloads Center. I'll put that link, quick link here for the download of, so download Windows Server 2019 ISO, right? So what you need to install and what you don't need to install, I'm going to put that information there as well. But let me just provide that link to you. So that would be ISO here. And this ISO you need to copy, right? And I'll put it back here as a link for you to go to and download. So see this, guys? Only download and do not install. Okay, that's this. And for the VMware, download and install in your laptop, right? So that you need to do, and I'll put that in red. We will install the Windows together. It's not like you don't know how to install Windows. It's just that we want to configure according to our, according to the configuration that are needed for the course, right? So this need to be ready before the next class. Also, what we're going to do is we will create a free trial E5. I'm going to explain everything in next class, obviously. Enterprise 5 license subscription for Microsoft 365 user account. I'm going to show you how to do it. You're going to follow me in doing that, right? Yeah. Okay. So we will create a free trial E5 Enterprise 5 license subscription for Microsoft user account together in next class. Next class and onwards, we will start at 9 a.m. right? So 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. So we could cover more because this crazy stunt 4-in-1 course, so we need more time. So next class and onwards. Other thing is, other recommendations are that if you are tech savvy, if you are fast, you can follow me during the class. Or if you decide that no, I will understand it completely first, I will ask as many questions as I want, and then when he's done the lab and record it, and when the recording is available that night or next day, then I'm gonna repeat the lab myself as many times as I want. So it's up to you. But if some of you start following me during the class and then say, oh, can you stop? I'm stuck here. Can you troubleshoot? Yes, I will help you with some tips and tricks. But if that troubleshooting takes like half an hour, so we won't be able to finish our course, let me then continue and show you the whole lab and all the steps and explain all that. And then, you can stop there where you're stuck, and you can continue after the lab, I can connect, or if anyone can volunteer to connect and help, or just do the lab when the video comes. But the main thing is, do you understand what's going on? If you don't understand, then you doing the lab without understanding is totally waste of time, right? So understand and repeat the lab 2 times is your goal, right? Okay, there's another email here, so I'll quickly do that. So guys, this is pretty much what you need to prepare in your laptops before the next week at 9 o'clock. So be here at 8:55, and you must have VMware Workstation Professional 16 or 15 installed in your laptop, and you must be downloaded with 2019 ISO but not installed. We're going to start from there together, and we're going to create the E5 account together. I'm going to explain all about that too. This is pretty much it. If there are any questions now.
Hi, Amir. I received the invitation, log into that, but I just see the AZ500. I cannot see the M365 and class.
AZ500. You don't see the Microsoft 365. Did you click the Teams?
Yeah, I logged into the invitation link, but I just see the AZ500.
Okay, so see this. If you go for Microsoft 365 and you log into this, right? First, you log into this page, and then you go to this Teams, right?
Yeah, I log in. I have I opened the Teams.
Okay.
The Teams is open for me, but I just see the AZ500.
You know what? I added you to this one then. Okay, let me add this one.
Yeah, I guess so.
Add member, and okay, I'll have to go. Hardware specs are being asked. What is the RAM? Malik Amjad is asking that. So guys, it would be, if you have 16 GB RAM, that is good. If you have 8 GB RAM, that would be terribly slow. So 16 GB RAM and i5 processor or i7 processor, if you have, that's better. So i7 processor and 16 GB RAM. If it's 32 GB RAM, that's good. 24 GB RAM, good. 16, at least you should have that. If you have 8 GB, it's gonna be very slow, right? You're gonna be crying. Okay, so thank you for putting that again. Okay, guys, so
Amir, for VMware Workstation Pro, it says that it's for only 30 days trial.
yes, we need it for 30 days only.
Okay.
Like
okay.
we need it for next 2 classes only, so 15 days only.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Oh, welcome. Any other question, guys? Otherwise, see you next week, Saturday, 8:55 sharp. Have a nice weekend. And you know, what is that group? You know, yeah, you were saying?
Hello, I said thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, thank you. So during the week, you can just put anything on WhatsApp, anything you want, anyone you want to recommend. We can still, new students can still join.
Yeah, sorry, one more thing.
Sure.
This is Jahangir here. Can you please send the invitation on my personal email as well?
Yeah, what's your email? Can you just put that there? Thank you.
I sent you my business, but it didn't working on my business.
Okay, so personal email you can put on WhatsApp. No, on the WebEx.
Same here. Really weird.
Yeah, I think invitation is.
Well, could it be a setting that you have, Amir, like external?
Might be suspicious.
No,
invitation might be suspicious for some companies and they might block it. So that's why I'm saying go for Outlook, Hotmail, Gmail.
So sorry, Amir.
Yeah.
So in Team, I just see one document. That's the one you shared, right? For now.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
This one page here. Oh, it already exists, it says. Guys, can you check your junk mail as well? Because junkie.com at Gmail. So, okay, I'll try to remove and then add again.
It's there. Okay.
Oops, who said that? Sorry, Jangir?
Yeah, I think I saw my name over there.
Okay, too late. I just removed you. So I'm gonna send another one.
Okay.
So yeah, it's gonna come again now, and hopefully you're good.
Yeah, if I encounter any problem, I will reach out to you.